Anytime's great for football, but I know when it feels just right.
I'm gonna kick back, relax.
Watching football on a Friday night.
It's Friday!
And we're gonna be hard to tame.
Eagle roll!
It's Friday.
Coast to coast.
The CFL is Canada's game.
We're all pumped up to party!
And we ready for a fight. Kick back, relax.
Watching Friday Night Football.
The boys are all back. Playing CFL football.
The game is up for grabs.
It's Friday night football tonight.
The second half of our doubleheader has the Lions in Calgary to take on the Stampeders. Vernon Adams Jr. downplayed the significance of this game, saying it's just going to be fun playing against those guys and my former coaches. Meanwhile, Nathan Rourke has been on an absolute tear as of late. He has recorded over 300 passing yards in 4 of his last 5 games. What does he have in store tonight? Great matchup over in the West as we welcome you inside the CFL on TSN. Kate Burness alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel. And I said VA downplayed this one, playing his former team for the very first time. Enoch, you know he wants this win.
He absolutely wants to win this game. And you look at the performance of the defense throughout the course of the season. They played really well. Last couple of games, Vernon hasn't played his best, but he's going to have to play. There's going to be a pressure on him tonight to play well. His emotions are going to play a role. He's got to make sure his emotions don't play, and he does.
Yeah, they say this league is a quarterback-driven league. It's all about that quarterback play well. We are going to have a good one now. Can't wait to see these two guys go head-to-head. That guy's under pressure because I think the other side has better weapons, better protection. Nathan Rourke's going to have to pull out some of his magic, get that win tonight.
The ultimate goal for both of these quarterbacks is to win the game. They really don't care about their stats. But this is one of those games where both of these guys have something to prove. Vernon Adams wants to prove that they got rid of the wrong guy. And Nathan Rourke, of course, wants to prove that they kept the right guy. So they're not necessarily going against each other, but as I said, they are going against each other because they want to prove that I'm the better quarterback than that other guy.
Well, you know, for the Stampeders, too, I mean, they need this victory. I mean, finally the BC Lions were able to win. They beat up on the Ottawa Red Blacks, but for the Stamps, too, coming off that loss to the Elks, losing Flo Rinaldi, too, it should be a great one. Matthew Betts is ready. We are ready. Kickoff from Calgary. He's coming up next.
Let's go.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome to Calgary as the sun sets here Friday Night Football. The back end of the doubleheader is it's VA, it's BC, but the only letter that matters in this alphabet jumble tonight is W. Wins. These two teams dearly need them in a great matchup in the West Division. Marshall Ferguson alongside Dwayne Ford. Tom Gazzola is at field level for us here throughout the evening as well. And for Vernon Adams Jr., he's downplayed this whole week everything about going up against his old team. Now we get to find out if it's for real.
Yeah, and I honestly think that with Vernon Adams Jr., it is that he's about getting the victory. When you look at the way things have played out statistically this year, there are things he's been willing to sacrifice personally in exchange for team success. Nathan Rourke, obviously the guy who won out in the competition for the BC starting quarterback job last season. One of the names at the top of the list for most outstanding Canadian in the CFL this year in his return to form.
Absolutely. There's Buck Pierce giving up 300 yards passing in 3 straight games of the BC Lions as Pierce hopes to put an end to that. And Dave Dickinson, he is at the controls of this run-heavy passing or offensive attack. As Vernon was saying to us that he mentioned to his receivers earlier this week that I don't get to throw it all that often in this offense, guys. You got to make me look good if I'm taking shots down the field. So after the coin toss, It was won by BC. They want the football immediately. They take it. Why wouldn't they want it? As they lead the West Division in yards per game offensively. As we begin from McMahon Stadium, and a solid return out near the 40-yard line as Nathan Rourke hits the turf here in a place that he had a career game back in 2022.
Yeah, and for Nathan Rourke, obviously, a big one as his BC Lions try to improve their position as far as not just the West Division, but crossover playoff standings here in the Canadian Football League. They need to get a couple of wins against teams that are ahead of them, with Calgary and Saskatchewan still on their docket in this final third of the season.
Rourke with 5 receivers available, looks right, comes over the middle, gets to his 4th read immediately, and it goes off the hands, incomplete, of his intended receiver, Xander Horvath, in the lineup here for James Butler, who leads the league in rushing, but the rest of the offense around Nathan Rourke looks like this.
Yeah, and some shuffling on the offensive line. Jarrell Broxton out at left tackle. Corey Woodruff slides out to tackle. Il Manning is in for him at guard. And as you mentioned, Xander Horvath, big body in the lineup in place of the injured James Butler. Javon Cotoy also out of the lineup. Kieran Poisson taking his spot.
All sorts of changes on both sides of this matchup as Rourke rips one complete, and it's Keon Hatcher making the grab, big hit as well. As Bailey Devine Scott gets a nice pop in there, but a gain of 13 yards for Keon Hatcher as he continues a tremendous season, leading the league in catches, targets, yards per game, and games of 100 yards or more.
Yeah, and you get a look, keeping the pocket clean for Nathan Rourke, progresses through his reads. Finds Hatcher sitting down for that big collision. I expect this one to be a physical affair.
14 contested catches as well for Keon Hatcher. That's tied for second in the CFL behind only Kenny Lawler. Go to the wide side here. Adrian Green back in the lineup after having a leg injury earlier on this season, and Green will be surrounded by the rest of this Stampeders defense.
Yeah, along that defensive line, a healthy Jalen Hutchings. Kind of a big deal as his 7 sacks. Tops amongst interior defensive linemen. Jacob Roberts enjoying a terrific first full year in the Canadian Football League. Brady Breeze in at the boundary halfback spot in place of the injured Sheldon Arnold. So the rookie Arnold had started every game. Breeze, recent acquisition, pressed into action here.
Damon Webb roaming around the back end as well at free safety as he stares down Rourke, who rips this one in complete, and Justin McInnes makes the grab, his first of the ball game. But what a throw by a Rourke, off balance, off kilter, and it's a gain of 19 for the Lions.
Here you see Justin McInnes working out of the slot. He's the number 2 receiver, second from the sideline. See him just kind of bend it around the linebacker in front of the DBs. Bread and butter for him.
Play action look here, giving Chase Wiley, and now across his body once again. It is complete. Keon Hatcher makes the grab. 2 Stampeders run into each other, and over the top goes Keon Hatcher inside the 5 as BC takes the football on the opening drive and gets a gain of 33 here.
Yeah, and you'll see the friendly fire between Stampeder defenders right after Hatcher makes the catch, just coming into an open window. They're going to go tempo here.
As Rourke under center, leans to the right-hand side. They rip at the football, and he's in for the touchdown. Flags fly as well. But what an opening drive from the BC Lions here on the road in Calgary.
Offside, Calgary, defensive line. Penalty is declined, touchdown.
An absolutely fantastic start for the BC Lions out of the gate. Something of a irresistible force meets immovable object type matchup here with the league's top offense against the league's top defense. And offense strikes first. Nathan Rourke guiding a highly efficient scoring drive for the BC Lions.
As we said, the Lions 421 yards per game as it stands right now, as there is an injured, it looks like Corey Woodruff is down, who is the starting left tackle here in the lineup for Jarrell Broxton. So see whether or not he can make his way back up onto his feet. But Nathan Rourke, even impressive to watch him work pregame, Dwayne, knowing that he's coming into a place where this defense has been playing at an extremely high level, and he knew he had to raise his level against them here tonight.
And obviously just one drive, but he certainly arrived ready to play. Not a surprise when you know the preparation of Mr. Rourke.
A couple of his teammates saying pregame as well as we were down at field level that as Woodruff is up onto his feet, which is great to see.
Yeah, I mean, this injury is a big concern for the BC Lions when you think about the quickness of Clarence Hicks coming off the edge for that Calgary defense, one of the top pass rushers in the Canadian Football League. Woodruff usually a starter at guard. He's in at tackle tonight because Jarrell Broxton is out, so you'd be going kind of 3 deep at tackle if you're putting someone else in there up against Hicks.
And you wonder how they could shuffle the deck because the 6th offensive lineman that's dressed is Andrew Pearson, who's typically an interior offensive lineman, right? So it makes things tough. But Nathan Rourke making some history on the opening drive of the ballgame. Big play after big play, passes the legendary 1969 season of Russ Jackson as number 12 into the end zone to get things going on Friday Night Football. It was an inevitability if you understand how well Nathan Rourke has been playing this season, but there he goes, officially past the incredible 1969 Grey Cup championship season, the final season of Russ Jackson as a player in the Canadian Football League, and Rourke has gone past in a single season. But yeah, it's I mean, it's eras, it's this, it's that, but in the last couple of weeks, he's gone past Russ's 66, 68, now 69. And he's got himself into the top spot Canadian all-time single season as the Calgary Stampeders get possession of the football, and that man, the former BC Lion, 22-24, ready to rock here in red.
Yeah, Vernon Adams Jr., big part of this turnaround here in Calgary.
Let's go.
This season. 8-3 as a starter. VA doing VA things on and off the field for this team.
And it looks as though there's an injured BC Lion down. I believe Vernon Adams Jr. actually, you could hear on the field say that's Adam Konar. So we will step away from the action as some concern for Adam Konar here on the special teams tackle. We'll be right back to Calgary. Junior, you know he'd love to have a great night here at home. He's been having plenty of success, but the last time out, he said he just didn't overly feel all that much like himself in what was basically a 50% passing performance, well below his season average, and the Edmonton defense did their job as the 3-game winning streak put to an end in the Labor Day Classic rematch. 31-19, Edmonton went on to victory.
And that Edmonton Elks defense doing a pretty good job of containing Vernon Adams Jr., the big plays that have been such a part, not just of VA's time here in Calgary, but of his career. Certainly limited in that outing.
You see Adam Konar still down on the field right now, playing primarily as a special teamer this season, and was running down to cover the kick. As we get a look at what happened, it's 31 in the gray uniform. It gets caught up, and looks like he reached back to try and make a play, and then fell awkwardly and had a teammate fall on top of him as well. But he is up and onto the cart right now, which is great to be able to see, and teammates clapping him onto his feet. Is Konar one of those veteran guys around the Canadian Football League that a lot of people respect the effort? He's been around 10 years.
Yeah, well, Adam Konar, a guy who spent a little bit of time in Calgary as well, so former teammates on the other side as well wishing Adam Konar well. A guy who has played in Edmonton as well in his career, but college career split between UBC and University of Calgary.
That tugs at the heartstrings as you see the frustration of him recognizing that he is not likely to be back in the short term with whatever happened to that lower arm and wrist area. So Buck Pierce will have to shuffle the deck a little bit on his side as well with injuries, and Vernon Adams Jr. an opportunity to get things going after Nathan Rourke went the length of the field. 6 plays, 71-yard drive for the touchdown to open things up. They begin with Dedrick Mills getting the touch here as the Stampeders offense goes for 6.
Yeah, we take a look at this group. Good to have Demery back at the left tackle position, particularly with what the BC Lions defensive line has done in recent weeks. And of course, Dominique Rhymes counted on in this receiving corps as a veteran former BC Lion. He and VA first hooking up on the West Coast.
This conversation with Joshua Coker as well. Pre-game as VA goes to the hard count, flags fly, and they'll blow this one dead. As Mills getting that first touch of the ball game and comes in 118 yards shy of his first 1,000-yard season. We'll see what he can add to that tally here tonight.
Vernon Adams, unquestionably the leader on this defense, this offense. But so much of it runs through Dedrick Mills in that ground attack.
Just philosophically, right? I mean, it's the way Calgary likes to play the game when they have the chance. But I think the thing that's scary for other teams in the West right now is you get that running game going, then all of a sudden heavy play action, big personnel, and VA's taking shots down the field. So they're looking for more explosives. They feel like that's been missing.
And they have the receivers who have that kind of potential. We have seen at times, in particular with Rhymes, the rookie Damian Alford, Clark Barnes, this particular season that have spent much of the year among the league leaders in yards per catch. You know, Tevin Jones and Jalen Philpott certainly can contribute in that regard as well. And of course, you've got Eric Brooks coming off a 100-yard game.
Procedure,
in week 14.
Calgary, number 60. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat second down.
Well, they ended up getting Demery on this. As it looked as though BC had jumped, but the big man at FIU has the call go against him.
So Demery, the left tackle, right side of your screen. You see just a little bit of a twitch there. And no surprise with Matthew Betts in front of him.
Inspiring some fear is Betts after a 4-sack performance last week against the Red Blacks. As now VA escapes the pocket, throws across his body, and throws an interception. It's Christophe Beaulieu trying to be tracked down by Clark Barnes, but BC gets the opening possession, drives the length of the field for a touchdown, and now has an interception as VA said he was going to try to avoid making the big mistakes. That one cross body into double coverage.
Well, you get yourself in trouble with the penalty. You're trying to recover to that, being aggressive. VA looking deep and forces this one a little bit as he's flushed out of the pocket. Ball thrown behind Rhymes. Beaulieu able to help out on that one.
We're looking for those explosives, as I said, and Dave Dickinson mentioned this week that he was happy with protecting the football, but it's a delicate balance. And certainly that time, it falls the way of the BC Lions as Nathan Rourke takes the handoff to Horvath, rolls to his left, gets the football away, and it's incomplete. At the 50-yard line, falls to the turf, intended for Aiden Eberhardt.
And you see the effect of that play action off the run fake. Allows Nathan Rourke to slip to the outside. Eberhardt attempting that diving catch, but just unable to bring it in.
Eberhardt was up above 20 yards per catch 2-3 weeks ago. That's fallen all the way to 18.5 now, so he's really fallen off. But that one, he wishes he obviously could have that great sense and feel for the CFL game already. Does Eberhardt have working with Nathan Rourke here? There's Rourke plenty of time in the pocket, and now steps up and somehow lobs it over the top, but incomplete. As that one clunky from start to finish, but almost turned into a BC first down against all the odds.
And you'll see Nathan Rourke gets contacted as he steps up. He's just trying to put a little bit of touch on this one, drop it over to Justin McInnes, but no way he's able to even step into that throw.
McInnes got a hand on it, but couldn't reel it in, and so the BC punting unit will come back out with Carl Meyer ready to send it away. 2 returners back for the Stampeders. Meyer decides to drop it down to, looks like Jalen Philpott at the 15-yard line, 45-yard punt. Top 2 pass defensive teams in the Canadian Football League. And for the BC Lions, a big help. This man, Matthew Betts, chasing around VA as the night rolls on here in Calgary. Matthew Betts making history last week, right up there alongside some of the legends in BC Lions history when it comes to getting after the quarterback, a single game career high. And he went from off the board to right up there at the top of the league standings.
Yeah, Betts now with 8 sacks, half of them coming in his last outing.
As you see, Brent Johnson, a 4-sack game, single game by a Canadian all the way back in 2005, 20 years between for the BC Lions. But as long as Betts is around the CFL, he'll be setting plenty of history for Canadians as he'll be chasing Vernon Adams Jr. looking underneath right here, completing. He did say there is no such thing as a bad quarterback in the Canadian Football League, but Betts rates VA as one of the most frustrating to play against. He just says he's one of the best in the entire league.
Yeah, just his entire skill set. That athleticism, hard to get a hold of, propensity for the big play. Matthew Betts, great respect for Vernon Adams, and even more so after having had the opportunity to be teammates.
Yeah, I said he was a great leader as well. As we welcome in viewers on TSN1 who are enjoying the Argos and the Alouettes. As VA looks over the middle, second interception of the first quarter for VA. It's picked up, heading down the left sideline as Micah known for his tackles, but this time flashes the hands, has 3 picks off 3, and there's flags at the end of the play as well.
And, you know, Micah always a guy who's going to be fired up for this one, as he spent the last couple of years as a Calgary Stampeder. Take a look, Alway, bottom left corner of your screen, just dropping into his own. Vernon Adams thinks he's looked him off and has an open window, but always sinking back to the inside, closes that window in a big way.
And a tremendous talent, as I say, total defensive plays made. Awe in this system, led by defensive coordinator Mike Benavides, has been tremendous because he's free to just run to the football, make as many plays as he possibly can. We did the game in Ottawa a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I feel like I'm doing my job poorly because I say his name every single play. He's everywhere, but now he's going to add an interception as well.
Yeah, second pick of the season for Micah Alway.
My wife, love all of y'all home. My whole family's watching from Texas. I love each and every one of y'all, man. So I do it for y'all. You got great teammates. Can't do it without anyone else. Can't do this alone. Can't do this alone.
And now crosses the dollar bill mark as well when it comes to defensive plays made on the season.
There are 3 fouls on the play. We have an illegal low block against Calgary, number 3. We also have offsetting misconduct penalties against BC number 58 and Calgary number 54. It'll be 15 yards from the end of the play. BC first down.
So Vernon Adams Jr. with the illegal low block. I wonder if he wasn't just trying to protect himself maybe after the interception was threw himself into somebody's legs at the end of it, but ends up moving the football into an even better position here for the Lions offense.
Strong start, obviously, in 2 phases of the game here, offense and defense for the BC Lions. You saw Nathan Rourke basically cut through Calgary's defense like a hot knife through butter on the opening drive, and since then, the BC defense coming up with a couple of turnovers early going in this ballgame.
Fullback in the ball game here. Nathan Rourke will find him. Pickett running towards the end zone and tackled just shy of the goal line. Second trip to the score zone already for the BC Lions offense. Nathan Rourke down inside the 20 this season. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And again, this is such a big part of the BC Lions offensive scheme. Given those run looks, getting Nathan Rourke out on the perimeter, and a lot of those easy little dump-offs, and that's the kind of play you're probably going to see a lot of tonight with James Butler, the league's leading rusher, out of the lineup for the BC Lions. That quick passing game that becomes an extension of the run game.
Jacob Bond in the ball game in short yards as well. Another fullback is underneath the pile. BC pushes forward, and it's another touchdown. The Lions extend their lead as Jeremiah Masoli into the end zone.
The veteran Masoli on as the short yardage quarterback here. Punches in his 3rd touchdown of the season. No doubt what they're doing is they've got everybody up on the line, nobody in the backfield. There's no faking it. We're telling you what we're going to do, and we're going to execute it so well, we're going to score anyway.
Solely the longtime CFL vet plunges into the end zone. And for the Calgary faithful that made their way here to cheer on their Stampeders, we're 5-2 at home on the season. It's a 14-point deficit as things stand right now. BC has held a double-digit lead in each of their last 5 games now, including this one here tonight, Friday Night Football. And it's a pair of interceptions off Vernon Adams Jr., including this beauty from Micah Awe. Pushed in by Masoli. This first quarter certainly not going the way that he would have liked, but Vernon Adams Jr. plenty of familiar faces on the other side. Tom Gazzola, for the first time here tonight, has more.
Marshall, in 31 games as a member of the BC Lions, Vernon Adams Jr. put together a solid 21-10 record. Of course, last year having an MOP caliber season, which was cut short, interrupted by a knee injury. Of course, the return of Nathan Rourke from his NFL stint also made things a little bit more complicated. Talking to both quarterbacks going into this game, they had a lot of admiration for one another. VA saying that Rourke is a top 3 quarterback in this league. He learned a little bit from the younger quarterback, says he really appreciates Rourke's ability to make quick reads. Rourke, talking about Vernon Adams, says he really admires Adams' leadership qualities, said he persevered through a tough time last year, demanded a lot out of his teammates, and so both guys really admire each other. But VA did add that he expects there to be a lot of trash talk today, and those 2 interceptions will certainly add fuel to the fire.
No doubt. Thank you, Tom. And yeah, tremendous respect between these 2 competitors as they understand that each of them has a lot to add to the show here tonight. But Vernon Adams Jr. off to a slow start, and a couple of wayward throws have gotten himself into trouble early on.
And for the Calgary Stampeder team, coming off a loss followed by a bye, this is not the kind of start that they were looking for in this football game. Picked off by Christophe Beaulieu and Micah Awe, all within the first 7 minutes of this ball game.
He needs 104 yards passing tonight to go past his 2024 mark with the BC Lions that Tom Gazzola was just talking about. But he'll hand off to begin this drive as they get Dedrick Mills churning downhill, as the BC Lions defense will try to add a 3rd interception to their tally on the night.
Yeah, and on the defense, as we mentioned, Matthew Betts coming off a rather monstrous game, 4 sacks for him against Ottawa. Deontay Williams had a strip sack score, making big contributions for that defense from his linebacker position. And welcome back for season 11, TJ Lee, longtime starter in the BC Lions secondary. They've been looking for one more piece on that back end and wonder if it's the best way to fill TJ Lee's shoes is with TJ Lee's feet.
As Vernon Adams Jr. drops the snap here, and he'll be tackled on 2nd down. And the punting unit will have to come out once again for Calgary, so just can't get out of their own way at this point in the ball game.
Well, you think about Calgary's opening possession, they get into some trouble with a penalty that puts them in a little bit of a hole. And yeah, there you saw it. Adams unable to handle the snap coming back that time. Fortunate to avoid a 3rd turnover here in the first quarter.
First punt here for Calgary is Zach Williams did well, the big offensive lineman left guard, to not step on Vernon Adams Jr. that time once he sensed that his quarterback was actually underneath him looking for the football. 56-yard punt. And the Lions getting a return down the sideline, cutting it back once again. And off to the races. Oh, a tackle saves the day at the very end. Kyle Wilson made the play. But Seven McGee nearly took it for just as many.
See the elusiveness of McGee here. Freezes the first man down, Tevin Jones. Tightrope walk along the sidelines, and then that 90-degree cutback. Very fortunate, because Kyle Wilson was the last Stampeder who was going to have any chance of keeping Seven McGee from hitting pay dirt.
McGee fired up, and I'm not sure there's anybody who's happier than McGee, maybe other than Nathan Rourke, who's got great field position once again. Right at the 55. Rourke setting the all-time single-season mark for a Canadian in terms of passing yardage already here this evening, passing 1969 Russ Jackson. And there you see the early statistics.
Calgary is challenging for the previous play for the punt returner stepping out of bounds. Play will be reviewed.
And Dave Dickinson reaching for a little bit of momentum here to try and push BC back.
Looking to gain a little bit of field position back here for his team that is struggling. We knew McGee was close to the sideline. We'll take a little closer look here. And there you can see that right foot in behind, clearly touching the white line.
And so that should back up the Lions quickly as the CFL replay center looks things over. Replay official back there tonight, controlling things, is Al Bradbury. Justin McInnes, our referee this evening, as McGee takes a look at his work. Calgary Stampeders 0 for 4 on challenges so far in 2025. And Dave Dickinson looking to get one right.
After review by the replay center, the punt returner stepped out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Timer, please reset the clock to 5:09.
Well, Dickinson has the first successful challenge of 2025 here. The fans appreciate it, and it backs up just a little bit Nathan Rourke. But here's the thing about how that offense has been moving. It could be just one more pass from Nathan Rourke to Keon Hatcher that all of a sudden opens things up, and you have that yardage right back.
Yeah, you certainly wonder with the way this one has started, but for Dave Dickinson, just looking to put his team in a little bit better situation here in what has been a rocky first quarter thus far.
Rourke in his 32nd career start in the Canadian Football League loads it up, and over the top, it's Barry Hill down the seam. He dove, and did he hang on to the football? He did.
Unreal. You see the protection afforded Nathan Rourke there, and you need that in order for the deep route to develop. The newcomer Brady Breeze being tested at his halfback spot. Stanley Berryhill wins that round.
Absolutely on the money from Nathan Rourke once again, as now the Calgary Stampeders defense gives chase, but they can't catch Rourke as he cuts back inside the 5. Touchdown, Nathan Rourke. 26 yards, and the unstoppable BC Lions offense strikes again.
Nathan Rourke gets out on the perimeter, and we see him so often in these situations, throwing the football. And it honestly had a feel, Marshall, on this play that when Rourke gets to the outside, it almost felt like the Stampeder defense is still expecting him to throw the ball. So they didn't want to leave their coverage. Meanwhile, Nathan Rourke turns it north-south and very quickly scores the Lions' third touchdown in the first 11 minutes of this ball game.
And the Calgary Stampeders still look and feel right now like they're on a bye week. Meanwhile, the BC Lions in total control. The extra point is good. And 21-0 is the lead. Nathan Rourke locked in from the second he got to the stadium here tonight. Kind of had that look in his eyes like he was going after it and going to send a message, but he's been on point and then using the legs as Berryhill with the explosive play that leads to the Rourke touchdown run.
Well, yeah, very much a drive, a two-play drive that shows you that Nathan Rourke can hurt you in multiple different ways. The deep ball, fantastic catch by Berryhill, obviously, on that one. And then a terrific run. Breaking tackles for Nathan Rourke.
Oh, my God.
Berryhill alongside alongside Eberhardt on the sideline. And coming into tonight, only Cody Fajardo and Dustin Crum had more quarterback running attempts. Those are not, your sneaks. Those are escaping the pocket, scrambling, making people miss, than Nathan Rourke. When you think of him as a thrower, obviously he's got the legs to be able to move around and get free, but he just showed a little bit of toughness as well that put your franchise quarterback right in the middle of the fray, and he ran right through the Stampeders defense. Calgary with a chance to try and answer once again. As they take the return out across the 30-yard line, and a flag comes up here at the end of the play as well. As it looks like Patrice Rene will get flagged for a late hit out of bounds, and VA still trying to keep the energy high.
BC, number 24. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down, Calgary.
Well, this is a play that may not seem like a big deal, but as you see, Rene comes in late there with Eric Brooks out of bounds. One of the Lions' top special teamers. He's been among the league leaders in special teams tackles much of the season, but arriving late on that one, giving the Stampeders a little boost in terms of field position.
Vernon Adams Jr. 21-point hole. He'll begin by throwing. It is complete. Tevin Jones catches it, goes across the 55-yard line, and rolls his way for a gain of what looks like 9 right now. As you wonder, with a deficit like this, even though it is very early on, this is a run-heavy attack we talked about. They probably got to open things up and start throwing it around a little bit more than they have in the past.
Well, I think so often, Marsh, there's that temptation to do it, but as you said, we're still early in this ball game. I think one of the important things is getting Vernon Adams settled a little bit in this Calgary Stampeder offense. I said off the top I didn't expect VA to maybe be affected by some of the hype around this game, but perhaps he has been.
Handed off, Dedrick Mills here on 2nd and short. And a solid gain. The first down of the ball game comes for the Calgary Stampeders with 2.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
They start the drive with a high percentage pass, and here it's Dedrick Mills. Go-to guy in terms of this Calgary Stampeder offense. Getting it going a little bit in the ground game.
Makes you wonder right now how much they would really like to lean on a Reggie Beggleton, right? A 3-time 1,000-yard receiver. Calmed down the huddle as well. Broken leg on the second play of the second game of the season. So he's not available as they try to chip their way down the field. As Woods makes the tackle in the open field. Loss of a yard on Jalen Philpott that time.
Yeah, and they're trying to get Woods blocked up on this one, but he sniffs this play out when he sees Philpott coming across the formation, is able to fight off the block to make a big play for a loss of a yard.
And just getting word from Tom Gazzola down on the sidelines as well that the free safety that had the interception, Christophe Beaulieu, done for the night with a knee injury right now. So there you see him on the bench. Watching on, he had the first interception of Vernon Adams Jr. Michael Awe with the second, but now moving the football more effectively. They'll screen this one out as Dedrick Mills makes the grab, cuts back into traffic, puts his shoulder down, and crosses the 30-yard line for another Calgary Stampeders first down and a gain of 13.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders taking a little bit of momentum here. Remember, this is a possession that started with a penalty against the BC Lions on the kickoff that gave Calgary pretty good field position to get things going, and they've managed to stack a few successful plays back to back here and keep that ball moving.
See if Matthew Betts can heat up Vernon Adams Jr. once again. Betts coming in with those 8 sacks we mentioned off the top, also 43 pressures as he's trying to identify how to solve this Calgary offensive line early on. It's a running play. They'll hand it off, and once again, and when Mills gets that downhill momentum, it's as good as any back in the Canadian Football League.
Well, you know, you talk about fun matchups to watch. Two of BC's linebackers, when you talk about Micah Awe and Deontay Williams, you're talking about some of the most physical guys in the Canadian Football League. And from an offensive point of view, Dedrick Mills is absolutely that for the Calgary Stampeders. So these guys may get sick of running into each other by the end of the night, but I suspect that that group will love it.
As it stands right now, Nathan Rourke, 136 yards in the ball game. VA just 25 as they continue to plunge their way forward here, trying to pick up the first down yardage required is Quincy Vaughn into the ball game. And that will do it for the first quarter of play in 2024 between Calgary and BC. The home team 3-0. Calgary a 25-24 victory in their lone McMahon Stadium showdown. Plenty of work to do for the home side if they want to take down Nathan Rourke and the Lions. Dominant performance in the first quarter of play here at McMahon Stadium. 21-0 for the BC Lions as it stands right now. And I guess the challenge now, Dwayne Ford, becomes whether or not the Calgary Stampeders say, well, we got to fight our way back into this thing and just open it up. Let's get after it. Or they say, hey, it's the second quarter.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the latter based on what we've seen with BC scoring 3 touchdowns and Calgary responding by putting the ball in the hands of Dedrick Mills. And I think it's the right move. When the game is a track meet, that's playing into the BC Lions MO completely, and that's what the first quarter was. I think, quite frankly, you want to slow this one down a little bit. Turned into a physical bump and grind kind of game.
Well, we fully expected the BC Lions offense to have success, but when you give them short fields and plenty of possessions, that's how you end up with a 21-point hole. As Adams Jr. in Calgary trying to respond right now on first down. Plenty of conversation on the sideline with Vernon and Dave Dickinson during the quarter break, probably trying to settle things down and just figure, hey, it matters for us to get into the end zone here, but we got to also just come away with points of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got momentum in the moment here, putting together a pretty good drive in response to the adversity that they faced in that first quarter.
8th play of the drive. VA looks to his right, throws across his body, up for grabs, and intercepted. They whistle it dead, and a flag is up as well. But Vernon, hands on hips. Did he just get away with one? Did they blow it dead? The BC coaching staff on the field asking why the play was blown dead.
And getting an explanation from the officials right now. We're hearing initially that this one may have hit the goalpost.
As we get the end view to be able to clarify.
While the pass was in the air, the ball hit the upright. By rule, it is a dead ball. It's an incomplete pass. During the play, we have holding, Calgary number 60. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
It was close, Dwayne. That's a trick shot that's hard to pull off even if you're trying to, and VA certainly wasn't. Robert Carter Jr. nearly had the interception, leads BC with 8 knockdowns on the year, but that one by about half an inch.
Yes.
Not going his way.
Post-aided, keeping that ball up in the air. Now, I will say, you talk about that being a tough trick shot. I actually saw Sean White intentionally kicking and hitting the crossbar in warm-up today, and he nailed it.
What can that guy do?
Yeah.
What can either of these kickers do? As Rennie Paredes hits the field and ready to send this one through. As he does, and Calgary is on the board, just 8 field goals now away from Rennie Paredes, passing Troy Westwood for 5th all-time in the Canadian Football League. But a little bit of momentum, signs of life from the Calgary offense. Got away with one thanks to the uprights, and Paredes cashes in. The BC defense thought they were going to make it rain on that last possession. They were right there, right on the edge, the precipice of another interception on Vernon Adams Jr., but points on the board as Rennie Paredes does well to help out his home side. And now Nathan Rourke gets possession back. Goes with an inside handoff, and it is the newcomer. Came in with just 1 carry on the season for a gain of 4 yards. That time it goes for 11 as the power back, Xander Horvath.
Yeah, things open up nicely here, and we know about the complementary run game. Nice lead block by the fullback, Riley Pickett, meeting the linebacker in the hole. But that combination we've seen so successful. We talked about the rushing of Nathan Rourke. A lot of his success as a runner, and he's very good at it. It's part of his skill set, but a lot of it has to do with the success that James Butler has had running the ball as well.
Concrete blitzes off the edge. Rourke knows he has to get rid of it, and he does. It's complete Berryhill. There are flags down, as it looks like Keon Hatcher was laying on the ground alongside Jaden Grant in the defensive secondary. So did they come together, and who's it against? Grant and Hatcher have a little conversation. Not even sure they know who's at fault.
We'll leave it to the officials to sort out. Keon Hatcher, obviously important guy, leaned on for the big play here in this Lions offense, but has really established himself with not only a comeback season this year, but above and beyond that, really proving to be one of the top receivers in the Canadian Football League.
There are 2 fouls on the previous play. Illegal contact, Calgary, number 44. Illegal interference, blocking downfield, BC, number 4. Those penalties offset will repeat first down.
All right, so it never happened. I mean, it did. But yeah, that goes against Anthony Johnson Jr. from the Calgary Stampeders, and then Keon Hatcher in that collision with Jaden Grant is the one that they deem to be at fault. So play 1st and 10 here from BC's end of the field, just barely around the 51-yard line. And see if the tremendous season of Keon Hatcher Sr. can continue. 5th year out of Arkansas. Take it to Horvath. Rourke pumps, wants to use the legs again. Makes another man miss in the open field and then slides down as he's wrapped up from behind. Rourke not afraid to use the legs here on a night where he sets the single season mark for Canadian passers.
And once again, you'll see Horvath really sell that fake in the middle. Defense caught up for a second, trying to make sure they shut that down. And this is what allows Nathan Rourke to get to the outside, whether he's going to pass it or whether he's going to run the football. But he has been very effective. He gets out there.
Adam Bighill, plenty of battles. Nathan Rourke early in his career as a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That time gets left in the dust by Rourke in the open field. And right into the middle here on 2nd and 3 yards to go. Not sure BC got it. We'll see where the spot is. But Bighill back into the lineup here for the Calgary Stampeders. Horvath gets a little help from his friends maybe to get the uniform all sorted out there. But you see the Purdue uniform from his past. And imagine this. He spent his entire career in one place.
Can guys do that?
I've heard.
Yes, the transfer portal is not a mandatory tool. A good career there, parlays that into an NFL shot before eventually finding his way here, joining the BC Lions.
We're short of the sticks. So Jeremiah Masoli is in, takes the snap, rolls to the right-hand side, and needed to get near the 50, actually the 49-yard line. He got stacked up short, but a flag comes up as they'll unpile. And did Calgary line up offside despite getting the stop?
Well, not much movement there for Masoli, but the reaction of Jacob Roberts suggests that this is not going Calgary's way. We'll take a look. Masoli's going to slide to his right. You see a hand, red glove there. Catch Masoli. Catch his face mask as he kind of disappears into the pile.
Face mask, Calgary, number 48. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
The continuing trend of most things that can go wrong have gone wrong so far for the Stampeders. 10:54 remaining in this first half, and give another fresh set of downs and a little bit of extra field to the Leos attack.
And young Calgary defense is really going to need to lean on some of their handful of veterans here to get things settled down.
Rourke looks to his right, throws a strike. It's caught, cutting back, and into the end zone, extend the lead again. Justin McInnes on a 35-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Rourke.
And you're going to get a great look here at how the blitz comes and the ball is just going into the area that has been vacated. Pressure's going to come from the left side of your screen. Justin McInnes right on the left edge. They take advantage of that open space. It was the halfback blitzing on that side, Brady Breeze. And McInnes knows in that situation, I'm the hot receiver, ball's coming my way. And the fourth touchdown of the game for the BC Lions.
Fitting that Justin McInnes would be on the receiving end after a 2024 season where he had so much success with Vernon Adams Jr., had trouble getting on the same page with Nathan Rourke. Tonight, it's Rourke and McInnes doing business as VA struggles down 28-3 here in the second quarter.
On this touchdown scored by Justin McInnes, he's motioning across the formation, but the player you want to keep an eye on here defensively is the halfback Brady Breeze. He's going to blitz, vacating his area and essentially leaving two defenders in terms of spacing, working against three receivers on that side. D. Webb, who comes over to basically fill the spot of Breeze on the blitz. Caught flat-footed there, trying to decide which way to go.
Micah Tights and Damon Webb couldn't close things down. So for the BC Lions, 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns as it stands right now. Nathan Rourke has 7 pass completions, 170 yards. He's already headed towards a 300-yard passing game. He's averaging 24.2 yards per pass completion in this ball game here in Week 16.
You already said in the first quarter that he's better than Russ Jackson.
Russ, I love you.
Nathan Rourke having surpassed in this ball game with his yardage Russ Jackson's total for the highest passing yardage by a Canadian quarterback in a single season.
Vernon Adams Jr. hands it off. Jalen Philpott getting the carry, as he so often does. Asked Tyson about that a couple weeks ago, playing for the Alouettes tonight against the Argonauts. Hey, why can't you get any carries? He said, my brother's just got this ability, man. I don't have it. He's got it. I don't.
Yeah, I think it's you're doing all right putting the ball in the hands of either Philpott. But Jalen certainly very involved in that aspect of the Calgary Stampeders offense. Came into this game with 10 carries. Has added a couple more to that total here tonight.
Stampeders. 9 minutes remaining in the half. And off here, and on 2nd down and 3. Let's drive the legs that time from Mills. As Micah Awe, as always, at the bottom of the pile.
Micah Awe, one of the guys to get things going for the BC Lions here. First quarter interception.
I thought it was great when we talked to him a couple weeks ago and said, hey, you're a petroleum engineer. You got all these side businesses and all these ventures. And what are you doing here? He said, I love learning. I love football. I love trying to figure it out. It's a game that I hate when I get things wrong. As the ball popped out at the end of that one, it looks like Mills somehow able to get back on it.
Fortunate to pull that one back into his body.
Hawaii nearly adding a fumble recovery to his evening here in Calgary is 3rd and inches. Quincy Vaughn in at quarterback. Takes the snap. Left-hand side, not much of a push. As looks like Vladeck was right there alongside Tavai. And the BC Lions defense thinks they got a turnover on downs here. Micah Awe's certainly convinced as well. And if they do, then, man, the Lions would have another short field.
Well, we have seen this BC Lions defensive line have some flashes this year in which they have been somewhat dominant.
Bit of that back step before Vaughn got there, but you can see down the line he did get just enough. So first down for the Calgary Stampeders offense. As we get a look at Hladik in the middle of that defense, getting snaps anywhere that he possibly can, in between the talented Josh Woods and Micah Awe. Mike Benavides mixing and matching defensive personnel with the talented athletic Canadian out of UBC. As Mills in the middle of the pile, and a gain of 4.
And the Calgary Stampeders remaining true to the game plan. You know, and I would contend we're still at an early enough point in this ball game where the Stampeders can be patient in their offensive approach and lean on Dedrick Mills as they have this season. You and I had the conversation earlier today. You know, Vernon Adams in 11 starts this season, as good as he has been, he's only completed more than 20 passes in a game once in 11 starts this year. That's not what the Calgary Stampeders rely on. It's Mills.
This quarterback draw now for Vernon Adams Jr. And there's a wall of defenders right there, so second and long. And they try to use the legs to get VA going. And it looks like they'll have to send out the punting unit once again, as the last couple of weeks for Vernon Adams Jr. coming back off of the bye right now. But yeah, you see the difference from the start of the season to a little bit of struggles Labor Day and Labor Day rematch.
Yeah, just having trouble getting some traction back here. You know, I mean, the Labor Day back-to-backs are always tough. I've always said it's hard to win both of those games, whichever rivalry set you're in.
There's a beautiful punt. This time fired down the field. Mark Fassett kicking it away from Seven McGee. Yeah, keep it out of 77's hands as much as possible. But the problem is Nathan Rourke gets to touch next here in Calgary. Truth and Reconciliation games will be played next weekend, but it is the annual Indigenous Celebration game here in Calgary for the Stamps. Great that they do this when they don't get a chance next weekend to have a home game. The tremendous logos you probably already noticed on the helmets being used tonight, and of course outside the stadium plenty of festivities with more. Tom Gazzola.
Yeah, the Stamps getting involved, certainly more so outside of just the game itself, Marshall. They took part in visiting the Dodging Horse Ranch last week. Bryce Bell, Dominique Grimes, Adrian Green, and President Jay McNeil went down and learned about the spirit, resilience of all Indigenous peoples living on Treaty 7 land. They also learned about the spirit and importance of the horse to all cultures. And then they were welcomed in by Brent Dodging Horse, former Calgary Hitman star. So a nice touch there. And then it is the Stamps tonight welcoming in about 1,000 people from different Indigenous communities around the area, as well as performance groups. And you'll notice the logo on the Stamps helmet. That is contemporary Plains style traditional art with the Stamps logo, and then the BC Lions as a nice touch, also honoring Indigenous culture with their logo on their helmets tonight.
Yeah, plenty of great touches in and around the stadium, and of course BC taking part in things as well. And looking forward to seeing how that relationship continues to grow as the BC Lions doing their part in support and celebration of Indigenous culture here as well tonight in Alberta. Nathan Rourke, a pass completion to Justin McInnes a second ago. Got them out some breathing room. Now it's tipped up in the air and nearly intercepted, as Jaden Grant wishing that one would have been left alone, but I'm not sure there's anything anybody could have done that could have helped that from the tip.
And you're going to see Nathan Rourke put a little bit of heat on this one. Damon Webb doing a good job to kind of get back to the middle of the field. It seemed like Rourke felt he had looked him off and created a little bit of a window there. I think the veteran at safety baiting the quarterback and able to get a hand on that one, nearly get the Stamps their first break of this ball game.
It's the second punt here on Friday Night Football. Carl Myers steps out. Rarely used here early on as Rourke reviews the evidence of the last play from scrimmage. A 57-yard punt from Meyer and tremendous downfield coverage As Vernon Adams Jr. and the Calgary Stampeders offense comes back out, just the Rene Paredes triple on the board as it stands right now. 4 minutes remaining in this first half. VA trying to find a way back in. It would be epic to come back against his former club. 3 years spent there. Plenty of success. 21-10 as a Lion. It begins here with a little swing pass with the Dedrick Mills in the open field as Deontay Williams tracks him down. Ryan Phillips celebrates that effort from his defensive secondary.
Yeah, the whole group doing a great job rallying to the football here, not allowing Dedrick Mills to get north-south. We know what a powerful runner he is, typically seeing that in the ground game, but that's what they're trying to exploit here with that short pass. But Deontay Williams amongst those keying in.
3 of 9 on second down as it stands right now. The Calgary Stampeders as VA pumps, looks over the middle, stands in forever against the 3-man rush, and now loads it up. Tevin Jones all alone down the sideline, taps the toes, and they'll say it is a completion.
Well, a much-needed big play for the Calgary Stampeders here late in the first half. First real spark-type moment for the home squad.
So Vernon Adams Jr. trying to get loose a little bit here as we've hit the 3-minute warning in the first half. From 3 to 4 for 34 as Vernon doubles his pass yardage output.
Coming up at the half, it's the Nathan Rourke Show. By the way, I feel bad. All we pumped up was VA and how he's going to play his former team, and then Rourke comes out with this performance. Also, we will recap the earlier game. The Argos with another chance to win with a walk-up. Didn't happen this time around. It's all coming up.
A spoiler alert, Kate. Jeez.
Thoughtless.
We didn't get a chance to watch the end of the game. We're working. It's Vernon Adams Jr. tries to go underneath, knocked down. And Matthew Betts told us this week when I asked him about Willie Jefferson and playing all the tendencies and jumping around and trying to get knockdowns, he said, if I tried to just knock things down the way Willie does with all his length, I won't pass rush the way I need to. Hey, best of both worlds on that one.
Yeah, just getting after it. Betts towards the bottom of your screen here, right defensive end. Kind of slow plays this one as he's not sure if it's going to be a run. VA holds on. Betts closes. Perfectly played there by the veteran defensive end from Laval.
He was thankful that the management here, the BC Lions, tries to avoid Montreal Carabin players, he told us. But different story for a different day. It's VA pressure on, and it is Betts doing what he does best. Add another one to the season tally.
Well, Matthew Betts may be getting on a little bit of a roll in terms of the sacks. 4 last week and back-to-back big plays here. Betts this time is going to line up in that left offensive A gap between the center and the guard. You've got one of the quickest first step guys in the Canadian Football League in Betts in what is a mismatch against an interior offensive lineman. That time getting after the young center, Christopher Fortin.
Big punt here, drops inside the end zone as McGee goes back. And we'll give one up there. But yeah, 4 sacks in the Canadian Football League, and the trademark stare right into the camera from Matthew Betts. But you go back to his time with the Laval Rouge, he's done this stuff before.
Yeah, we asked him this week, have you ever had a game like that? 4 sacks in one outing? And he said, well, not in the CFL, but in university I did it once, and he was very pleased to point out he did it against the rival Montreal Carabin, who Matthew not happy, by the way. If he looked particularly unhappy in the stare, it's because Montreal beat Laval.
Yeah.
Last weekend.
Well, you asked the question, and he said, Dwayne, listen, don't really want to talk about it. All I know is we're down 10, and we got another game coming up.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Let's go, guys! Season series. We'll get after it as handoff inside here, and Horvath dives his way forward for a gain of 5 on first down.
Be interesting to see if the BC Lions get to a place in this ball game where they're the ones looking to slow it down a little bit as we go on and time becomes the enemy of the Calgary Stampeders.
Buck Pierce, you wonder if he goes into kind of game management mode at this point. But the 5th game in a row that at least a double-digit lead held at some point in the ball game by BC. Are they hitting their stride? Just like you talked about, Betts getting into a rhythm. As this one completes underneath, as Kieran Poussaint makes the grab. Felt that one a little bit as Damon Webb came flying downhill.
And Poussaint in the starting lineup tonight in the absence of Javon Catoy. The very unique, they call him Big Cat in BC. He's one of those guys that I think of as the unicorn, right? Very unique in terms of his skill set. That it takes away a lot of personnel packages when you lose a guy like Javon Catoy, who can line up as a tight end, who can be a slot, can handle a lot of different responsibilities for you. But Poussaint, also a former junior football star of the BC Football League.
Yeah, West Shore Rebels, his flag comes up here, and they'll blow this one down. I wonder if Rourke didn't get this snap to come up in time. See the frustration on 12's face.
Time count violation. BC, number 12. Penalty is a loss of down. It'll be 2nd down.
Also wonder, Dwayne, about, you say personnel packages. Yes, BC does draft an extra, couple of fullbacks here tonight and get some special teams, this and that. But for Javon Catoy, 12 score zone targets leads the BC Lions. He's not just a blocker that's working inside. He's a multi-use weapon.
Absolutely.
For this BC offense. Obviously, they've been able to find solutions without him in the lineup, scoring 28 first-half points. 90 seconds remaining in this first half, and Aiden Eberhardt almost brought down by Derek Moncrief. Adrian Green right there as well. Great to see him back in the lineup after a tremendous start to his 2025 season.
Eberhardt lined up in the slot here. Moncrief does a good job. Coming up to get enough of them. Didn't get a clean strike there, but manages to hang on long enough for the former Lion, Adrian Green, who's back in at that field corner position this week after an injury absence. Come up and get in on the tackle.
It's week 8 is Green. 50th game played here tonight, the Canadian Football League between BC and Calgary, where he has locked down that field corner side. Not enough for Eberhardt, so the punting unit comes out once again with Carl Meyer. It's caught on the run. Jaden Philpott on a 35-yard punt. And the coverage unit right there to wrap up Philpott. Jackson Finley working downfield on special teams as well as halftime coming up. Friday night football at the half. Kate Burness, Enoch Mwamba, Milt Stiegel, and Davis Sanchez.
I just want it to be known that I watched a little bit earlier during a break in tonight's game. I saw the world's fastest cow run. And he maybe caught up to the guy right at the finish line. I'm just saying the cow is not as fast as he used to be.
Cow took a step back maybe here later on in the season, but we'll have to check the injury report as well. We don't know. I think everybody that was involved in that race might have had a tweak here or there. Did a good job by Vernon Adams Jr. taking off, using the legs that time, as he was at the 3-minute warning, kind of feeling things out after that big throw down the right sideline to Tevin Jones. That one goes for 11 yards. As Vernon looks outside, and it should have been picked off. It was a game-time decision for Gary Peters, straight off the hands. Otherwise, that was the easiest pick 6 that Gary Peters has ever had.
Yeah, Gary Peters was in full return mode here before he catches the ball. As you'll see, he's basically running, looking to catch this one in stride and keep going to the end zone.
Well, cinematic excellence from our crew, as always, there with Dave Dickinson walking through the shot in frustration. As Tevin Jones wouldn't have been able to catch Gary Peters. 3-man rush. VA steps up, throws into a window. Clark Barnes makes the grab. And right up by the 55 front of Robert Carter Jr., Michael Awe there as well, but a gain of 18 on the play. First down once again for Calgary.
Yeah, an important first down, an important yardage there. Stampeders now into the final 30 seconds of this first half with an opportunity to at least get themselves into Rene Paredes' field goal range.
Calgary does get the football to begin the second half as well, so any points help get a little bit of momentum and try to do the double dip. Score before the half, score after the half as well as Dietrich Mills makes the grab. Goes for a gain of 4 yards, second down and 6.
Yeah, take that check down as the Lions just want to make sure they don't give up one over the top. They'll come forward to make plays on that underneath stuff. Paredes, by the way, with a long of 53 here this season.
Vernon steps forward, plenty of time, makes one man miss, now loads it up, and the freewheeling Vernon Adams Jr. having to create here at the end of the first half to get second down conversions. It works again, and a gain of 18.
Yeah, they're going to go quick, try and get a playoff here, but obviously that one took some time. They're within field goal range. The time to get one more offensive playoff here.
Whistle this in. VA trying to make the right choice underneath. And I think you heard him say, get down. Shades of the end of the Labor Day Classic with Dejon Brissett and the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, maybe not quite as dramatic, but the same concept at play here. Make sure we have a chance to kick the ball.
And so a touchdown-less first half for Vernon Adams Jr. And the Calgary offense, as Nathan Rourke has one through the air and 2 on the ground. Jeremiah Masoli plunging in as well. 4 majors. Rene Paredes needed 1 point coming into tonight for 100 on the season. He's already passed that, and he'll tack 3 more points on right now. So it's a 3-score game. They've crawled their way back in. Got a couple of points here. They get the football to start the second half. An opportunity in front of Calgary to try and do something memorable here tonight. But Nathan Rourke talking things over and obviously playing at a very, very high level.
Yeah, making sure he's on the same page with that offensive line, who's done a very good job. And that's allowed Nathan Rourke to go to work, delivering the ball to a variety of receivers, couple big catches. And that one for the Lions' second leading receiver. Last year's CFL leading receiver, Justin McInnes, who is now standing by with our Tom Gazzola.
Justin, when your defense has a couple of takeaways early in the game and manages to shut down VA and the Calgary offense, what does that do for you guys as a whole, confidence-wise?
Yeah, that's complimentary football, right? When they get turnovers for us, we got to go down and score. We did a good job of that. We got an early jump on them in the first quarter. A lot of football left, though. We got to keep scoring.
Going into this game, I know you talked about playing clean football, peaking at the right time of year. How does that half of football stack up for you guys?
Absolutely, that was a clean half. I mean, a couple mistakes, a couple mental mistakes, a couple penalties. But that's football. That's going to happen. We just got to come out and keep the same energy that we had this first half and bring it back second half.
Thanks for the time, Justin.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Justin McInnes and the Lions up big at the half. Let's send it over to Kate and the panel.
Tom, that panel would be Enoch Mwamba, David Sanchez, Milt Stegall, and welcome to the Nathan Rourke Show. What a performance in that first half. He has been playing exceptionally well as of late, just picking up exactly where he left off. He has 193 in the air. He's got 1 TD. He's got 34 yards on the ground. He's got 2 TDs rushing as well, too. I mean, that was a magnificent half for Rourke.
I mean, he is putting everything out on display tonight. He's showing his bag, and he's got all the moves. He's finding receivers down the field. He's running the ball at will. Right now, the defense in Calgary, who we have known them to be a great defense this year, tonight they have no answer for Nathan Rourke. Whatever the offensive play caller is doing right now, he is just executing at a high level. And the defense by the Calgary Stampeders tonight just can't do anything against him.
Nathan Rourke is the best quarterback in the Canadian Football League. Been saying it for about a month now. He can do everything. There's guys playing at a high level in this league. Most of those guys, some of those guys are older guys in the league that are playing great football. But when it comes to young, talented football players and quarterbacks right now, if I pick one guy to start my franchise with, no questions, 0 doubts, I'd take Nathan Rourke right now. He can do it all, and it was on full display.
On the flip side, too, when it comes to Vernon Adams, we spoke about this in our pregame show, and we thought, you know what? For VA tonight, too, you can say whatever you want, but this is the first matchup you have against the BC Lions. The Lions ultimately went with Nathan Rourke, and look, it's panning out to be the correct decision.
Yes.
And for VA, though, we thought that this might be a statement game. He's got 111 yards. He's got those 2 picks. And, Milt, as we were saying, too, he's had a rough go as of late. He did not have a good game against the Elks, and then really half the game of football before that one, too. He was just not himself.
Yeah, there has to be some concern with these Calgary Stampeders. You talk about Vernon Adams, and a few weeks ago, he was the favorite to be the MOP. And as you mentioned, Kate, basically over the last 2.5 games, he hadn't shown well. And not only are they struggling on offense, but their top defensive player is done for the year in Flo Arimolade. So there's some concerns with this team right now. They're definitely struggling. They need Vernon Adams to play a better game, because if he can play better, everyone else will feed off of that. You saw when he was playing better, the defense would play better. But he needs to come out and have a second half. Do they have an opportunity to win this game?
I want you to say it.
Say what?
I want you to pull the curtain back, Milt. Tell them about our phone call. Tell them about our conversation about...
You selling your boy out like that.
You know what? It's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Okay,
we had a conversation about it 3 weeks ago. And
I said Vernon Adams was the best quarterback in the league.
And I said, Nate, there's no question. It's Nathan Rourke. And you argue with me about it. And now we're on national television. And you're going to eat it.
3 weeks ago, he was. We live in the moment, Chaz. That's the business we in. We change our minds all the time based on the way players... Chaz, this is not a laughing matter. How you going to call me out like that, dude?
That's crazy.
Enoch, back in week 2, do you know what you said about me?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you know what? Coming up after the break,
Wait till the cameras go off, Chaz.
Lions up by 21. Toronto Argonauts win streak snapped at 3 games. The Montreal Alouettes, they moved to 500 on the season. For Argos QB, Jared Daggy was his first CFL start. He had 1 INT, that pick courtesy of Wesley Sutton, who is with Matthew Giannetti.
Take us through that interception. The crucial time of the game, the one thing that I've learned that Noel Thorpe says is the game is not over until there are zeros on the clock. Take us through the mentality of this team in the critical time.
Man, I just want to say God is great. You know, he's given us the opportunity to play this game, and all of us aren't deserving of it. And it's just amazing to come out here and play this beautiful game. But, you know, Coach was saying we got to win in man coverage. And, you know, that's what we do. We fight to the end. We do work super hard throughout the week. And sometimes, you know, you start to question, but games like this makes you believe and allows you to keep the faith. So
congratulations. Thanks for this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless.
Milt?
Yes. Wesley, great interception, but he gave thanks to God, but God would have called P out. I mean, why are you guys laughing? That was God. God threw the flag. It just hadn't got there yet, but he was called P out.
You know what's funny? Before we did this, too, I was challenging you guys on this one. I looked at it at least 4 times. This is 100% PI. This is as easy as it gets. It really is.
Yeah. It's, look, for that, in that situation, when you see the body turn, that's the key. You see him completely get turned. If they had it, we said it, they didn't have a challenge flag. If they did, they would have called it. Maybe in that spot on the field, there's a chance that the referee was blocked and didn't see it, that there's a chance of that. But regardless, let's give credit to Montreal.
Yes.
Defensively, if you could hold any quarterback to 200 yards passing, that's a great night in the Canadian Football League. So that was the ending of it, but let's give Montreal's defense credit.
And on the other end, the defense for the Toronto Argonauts played great tonight. Gave Daggy 3 interceptions, gave the ball right back to him. And to your point, 200 yards is just not going to cut it against a Montreal Alouettes team that came down. And they did just enough plays. They had just enough plays to win the game, and they did it.
You know, too, it was a slow game, too. But the end of this one, I mean, my goodness, when Toronto opted to kick the field goal instead, and then they were able to stop you right. The defense was good. They stopped Montreal, and just a chaotic ending. Once again, it was a doubleheader tonight, and guess what? It's a doubleheader again tomorrow. It all starts in the nation's capital. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Chris Trebler once again starting for this team as they take on the Red Blacks. You can see that at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN and on CTV. And then I feel like the panel is going on a road trip again. We will be in Hamilton. It is the Hall of Fame game. The Elks in town visiting the Tiger Cats. Pre-game festivities kick off 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. But of course, a game to wrap up here in Calgary. First, a dominating first half by Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions. They are currently up 28-7. We'll get you back to McMahon right after this.
All fun and games for the BC Lions in the first half here. Week 16 Friday night football as the Calgary Stampeders. They are certainly in a hole as it stands right now. Statistically speaking, yes, it is lopsided. The big number, of course, at the top as Calgary trying to fight their way back in. How do they get that done? Staying alongside our Tom Gazzola is Dave Dickinson.
Dave, how much of that tough start can be attributed to the bye week in your opinion?
Nope. Poor play. That's not who we are. We got 30 minutes to show people that we're a better team than that.
You've seen, experienced a lot of things in this league. What are some of the key things to getting back in a game like this, climbing out of a deficit?
Right now, I just want us to make a good play. I don't even care if it's a series. We haven't even had a lot of good plays. Let's make sure we understand what our job is, do it to the best of our ability. Win that one play, see what happens.
Thanks for the time, Dave.
Proud franchise, of course, and Dave Dickinson has been here for so much of it as it stands coming into tonight. 8-4 on the year. And second in the West Division. BC coming in at 6-7, trying to get back to 500. And looking forward to seeing whether or not they can close the job out here as Adam Bighill, Vernon Adams Jr., and the rest of the leadership group of the Calgary Stampeders. I'm sure a strong message sent at halftime.
Yeah, no question about that. This is a big reason why these kinds of guys were brought in. It's largely been smooth sailing for the Calgary Stampeders this season, but I mean, this is where you really need that veteran leadership, is when you do face real adversity.
They did get the Rene Paredes field goal at the end of the first half, and now great starting field position and maybe more. To open up the second, they'll begin offensively with a little boost of life and a big return from Eric Brooks.
Yeah, and Eric Brooks is a guy who, to me, has been an important performer for the Calgary Stampeders here in 2025, getting a bigger opportunity on offense with the absence of Reggie Begelton since early in the season. Had his first 100-yard receiving game last week, had his first kick return touchdown on Labor Day, but setting the Stamps up here with terrific field position.
Yeah, that 86-yard punt return touchdown, the first of his CFL career, as you say, and working offensively alongside Vernon Adams Jr. who finds Tevin Jones to open things up here in the second half, and he rolls his way inside the 35 for a Calgary gain of 14 and a first down.
And we'll see if the Calgary Stampeders, how aggressive they become. Tevin Jones lines up tight to the formation here. Just posting up. Looking for the feed from Vernon Adams. Gets it, moves the sticks.
VA 1 of 1 here to get things going in the second half. Go back to the ground attack. They're pushing off the right-hand side. Get a gain of 3 on the play as they unpile in this Calgary offense that has been not exactly the most proficient throughout the year, but certainly effective when they have been at their very best. They're just trying to find a rhythm, as Dave Dickinson said there, about just make a couple of good plays in a row, string them together, make a drive.
A good start here, and obviously aided by good field position to start this drive, but critical to finish. The BC Lions, having scored 4 touchdowns already, 3s aren't going to get it done for the Stamps.
Yeah, absolutely. They go back to the quarterback draw, called it once in the first half, and VA goes head first here as coming downhill from the free safety spot. Looks like Jackson Finley, and now Vernon Adams Jr. in some discomfort. P.J. Walker is warming up on the sidelines immediately.
Yeah, and you're going to see VA as he goes down. Finley in the game. Most of his body goes over top of VA, but if you watch, his knee is going to catch Vernon Adams in the back of the head as he goes over top of him. I think it was that contact that rocked the Stampeder quarterback. Finley in for an injured Christophe Beaulieu at the free safety spot for BC.
Tough collision.
The injury spotter is removing Calgary number 3 from the game.
Dave Dickinson fighting a losing battle on that one to keep his quarterback into the game. So P.J. Walker ready to go. As Dominique Grimes, you see standing there, love to see him get into the action as well. His one start so far this season, week number 9 against Ottawa. P.J. Walker getting some attention. And now Vernon Adams Jr. will head towards the injury tent. Walker hands this one off, and Brooks going around the corner and thrown down from behind Micah Awe as Dave Dickinson ran down the sideline begging for a call.
Yeah, one that certainly, from our vantage point, looked like a horse collar tackle. But Micah Awe argued right away and was trying to demonstrate to the officials. We'll see here. And he's got him. He actually has him by the jersey, not
necessary
by the
roughness,
collar.
horse collar tackle. BC number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And it doesn't have to be hand hooked inside the shoulder pads now. It is on the name plate on the back of the uniform as well. But at the end of the play, certainly the actual tackle is more of just a very large, strong man throwing down a smaller player.
This one all about what the mechanism of injury is.
Second score zone opportunity here for the Calgary Stampeders. And again, it's a conceded single and a pair of Rennie Paredes field goals. Can they get into the end zone? Handed off. Dedrick Mills runs through an arm tackle, drives the legs, and he's tackled inside the 5-yard line. Be a gain of 5. And an eye on the sideline right now. Vernon Adams Jr., I believe, still inside the injury tent.
P.J. Walker, veteran NFLer, joined the Stampeders late last season, has had one start for Calgary this year with Adams injured, unable to play in Ottawa. A little bit of action week 14 as well. And Adams came out late in the game in Edmonton.
6th play of the drive. Dedrick Mills gets the touch, leans towards the end zone. And no signal as of yet. The officials trying to find the bottom of the pile.
Well, it looked like the ball came loose here as Dedrick Mills was trying to fight his way into the end zone.
Christopher Fortin, the center, signaling touchdown right now, but no signal from the officials.
We'll get a great look here right down the line. Hasn't broken the plane. He's still up, and the ball is out.
For the second time already in this football game, it's Dedrick Mills trying to pull the football away from Micah Awe at the bottom of the pile.
Looking like Mills keeping possession, but obviously down on the field, not able to score.
Dickinson watches on. As the heavy team is in.
P.J. Walker back to the sidelines. Quincy Vaughn, the rookie in at quarterback.
His first year, drafted in the 2nd round, 17th overall in North Dakota. Quincy Vaughn handles short yardage, goes to the right-hand side. Touchdown, Calgary. A little bit of life for the red and white.
Stampeders, despite losing Vernon Adams for a portion of it, able to capitalize on a terrific kickoff return to start this second half. Put a nice drive together. All 3 quarterbacks making a contribution for Calgary on this one.
piecing it together, and we'll keep an eye on the sideline for Vernon Adams Jr. and his status moving forward. But PJ Walker into the game. Quincy Vaughn finishes it off. And after having the first Calgary return touchdown since the 2024 Labor Day Classic with Peyton Logan, Eric Brooks was the one that got that all going with the big kickoff return to start the second half. VA gets dinged. Walker helps out, and Vaughn finishes things off, the closer, and then hands it off to the big man, Miles Brown. Welcome back to Calgary as we see Eric Brooks, a little bit of life immediately, almost took it right off the face mask there to open up things in the second half, but took the punter, forcing him back inside before he was eventually wrapped up and brought down. And Wayne Quincy Vaughn, impressive handling short yardage in his first year in the CFL, but he's got a little bit of experience handling these kind of things.
Yeah, he certainly does. Former quarterback at the University of North Dakota, became something of a short yardage specialist there, even continuing after moving to tight end to finish his college career, but asked to fill that role here in Calgary with Tommy Stevens having moved on to Saskatchewan.
Happy to do so. So BC gets the football back for the first time since the game was a significantly different feeling ordeal, as Nathan worked tremendous in the first half. You heard the panel talking about it, is on point for most of his passes and not afraid to use the legs to open up different options for the BC offense.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke absolutely dominant in the first half. A Calgary Stampeder defense that has earned rave reviews through the first 2/3 of this 2025 season. Just didn't have an answer for Rourke in the first half of this ball game, whether he was throwing the ball or carrying it.
That is 21st passing touchdown of the season. Earlier on in the first half, as Rourke does look to throw, opening things up here, and along that sideline, digging it off the ground, is Keon Hatcher. And they'll say yes, that it was a completed catch. We'll get another good look at it for you here.
Yeah, Rourke kind of throwing this to a spot along the sidelines as Hatcher is working back to the football. Was he able to keep it off the ground?
Won't matter now. Snap came up, and Horvath is around the edge. There's a flag up. It looks like Berryhill might have blocked back towards his own goal line, but they went quickly to the line of scrimmage, and rightfully so, because it looked like that football skipped into the waiting hands of Keon Hatcher on the previous play.
Yeah, Lions recognizing the situation.
4 yards per gain. Holding. BC, number 83. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
May get a look at Berryhill trying to help out his running back out on the perimeter. Got onto the back of Adrian Green. That big run is coming back.
But struggling to tackle the powerful Xander Horvath here in the open field to get things going in the third quarter. 28-14. Adrian Green back into the lineup and stares down fellow Canadian Nathan Rourke. Well, empty Horvath out. 4x2 are the receivers. Rourke finds Justin McInnes as his best available option, and McInnes fighting for more yardage, but is taken down there, so it'll be second and long.
Yeah, Adrian Green doing a nice job there to make sure he got McInnes wrapped up immediately. His help arrives in the form of linebacker Micah Tights to finish off the play.
Tights in the 7th year to the University of Calgary, which you have a very shiny looking UFC hoodie all of a sudden.
Brand new Dinos hoodie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking to expand my U Sports collection.
It's a campaign. We're beginning it officially tonight. Dwayne's hoodies, meet some U Sports. Get some love around the country. Is nice pitch and catch. And once again, Hatcher just can't be stopped. Settling in between coverage. And a little slow to get up this time, but Nathan Rourke, clear connection with number 4.
Yeah, Hatcher working out of the slot. BC's leading receiver this season. Hatcher enjoying a career year.
Rourke looks quickly, tries to fit it into a tight window. He does. Damon Webb came downhill from free safety and stuck Keon Hatcher. As Webb, one of the thumpers in the Ottawa secondary for the last couple of years. Makes his way over in free agency here to Calgary and read this the whole way as Rourke stared down Hatcher.
Yeah, you saw the reaction from Hatcher after the hit, pointing to his head, wondering if there may have been a headshot here, but I think what he was really feeling is more just the jolt that he took from Damon Webb coming downhill.
Clean hit, shoulder to shoulder through there, so Hatcher stays in the huddle. Extra offensive lineman is Andrew Pearson, a couple of fullbacks into the ball game as well, as they'll play on 2nd and inches. Snap comes up, Rourke, never in doubt, rolls over the top of the pile, and first down BC.
So after a big scoring drive by Calgary to start this second half, BC seems to be picking up right about where they left off in the opening 30 minutes. Just churning away offensively. Despite the absence of the league's leading rusher coming into this week, James Butler at running back, Javon Katoy missing from the receiving corps. Jarrell Broxton, their starting left tackle.
Rourke takes the run, feeding to his left. Keon Hatcher catches it at the 10, cuts back, and is pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. But again, Rourke just kind of drifting to his left. We're also getting word as Rourke makes that big completion that Vernon Adams Jr. is officially done for the remainder of the evening. So he sits on the bench alongside PJ Walker, who we fully expect will be at the controls here trying to lead a Calgary comeback. But it looks like it might be an even bigger deficit to overcome if the BC offense keeps moving like this.
Yeah, BC pressing again here. Keon Hatcher doing much of the damage on this particular drive.
Nathan Rourke currently 15 of 19. Already getting up around 300 yards passing in the ball game as that one. The official was asking Rourke to relax. He tried to take the snap as quickly as he could. Midway point of the 3rd quarter, and as I say, Rourke getting close to 300 yards passing already in this one. The BC record books for 300+ yards in a game in a single season. Doug Flutie has the record, 14 games. Dave Dickinson and Vernon Adams Jr., 20 years apart. They did it 10 games. Rourke already at 8 coming into tonight. He's getting set to have it cross to 9 as Rourke goes quarterback sweep to the outside. Touchdown, Nathan Rourke.
Rourke once again shows off the Jets. His rushing ability. And this wasn't one that he bounced to the outside. He was attacking that edge all the way and just outran the defense. You get a great look. He's going left. Hatcher. Number of catches on that drive, but here has to be a blocker at the point of attack. Helps Rourke get around that edge. For the Hattie, his 3rd touchdown run of the night.
Yeah, we were trying to come up together with what's the term we're supposed to use when a defender has at least one of fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, interceptions, sacks. It's the cycle, essentially. It's the CFL cycle, and the hat trick here. So we're mixing and matching.
15-yard misconduct penalty against BC, number 55. 15 yards will be applied on the kickoff.
The sports analogies across as BC takes the penalty here. Il Manning, but 8 plays, 84 yards in 4:15. As signs of life for Calgary when Quincy Vaughn punched it in from a yard away on the Vernon Adams Jr. and PJ Walker aided drive, and immediately Nathan Rourke does not care. Gets the football back for the first time since 2 possessions ago. Calgary Stampeders had it. They'll just win a race to the pylon into the end zone. Rourke and the Lions continue to roll here in Calgary. as the 15th overall selection in the COVID draft 2020. Nathan Rourke making good here for the BC Lions, as earlier tonight he's already gone past Doug Flutie for 8th in the all-time passing leaders for the BC Lions. As you see there, Vernon Adams Jr. down in 10th, and just a little bit up the road, a guy named Dave Dickinson sitting at 5th in all-time Lions history.
Quite a night in terms of milestones, and some of the names Nathan Rourke has surpassed in various categories tonight. We mentioned the single season passing yards by a Canadian quarterback, having topped Russ Jackson in that category, and as you said, now surpassing Doug Flutie.
As this one returned by Eric Brooks out to the 35-yard line.
Eric Brooks on the return.
And the BC Lions defense has their chance to send a message next. Is coming off the sideline, P.J. Walker ready to roll. Vernon Adams Jr. down and out for the remainder of the evening here in Calgary. 32-year-old Pasadena, California native Vernon Adams Jr. Tremendous start to the season. Been battling the last couple of games out against the Edmonton Elks. And then here for the first time this year against his old club, the BC Lions. Gets dinged, goes to the sideline here. And sitting on what looks like a heating pad, trying to stay loose maybe, and a shake of the head obviously as he watches on, and P.J. Walker gets his opportunity to try to add a little bit more energy into this offense that's been struggling throughout the evening, as Vernon having those pair of interceptions that came all the way back in the first quarter and put the BC offense in really good field position situations, as Walker somehow gets this one away, dumps it off underneath. Dietrich Mills makes the grab, and Josh Woods makes the tackle, but trying to create with the offensive line caving in that time was Walker.
Yeah, you'll see Walker trying to stand in and stay alive on this one, not finding a receiver. The last second as he's being taken down there, manages to at least avoid a loss on the play, getting it back to Dietrich Mills at the original line of scrimmage.
What can Matthew Betts do, knowing that it's pass attack happy Calgary at this point, trying to carve their way back in, as Dietrich Mills extremely effective catching the ball out of the backfield here this evening. 8, maybe 9 yards on the play here, 3rd down. And Quincy Vaughn comes off the sideline for short yardage.
Yes. Just looking to see exactly where they've spotted this one. It's not a gimme here by any means for the Calgary Stampeders short yardage unit, but obviously they need to maintain offensive possessions if they're going to have any chance to get back in this ballgame.
Galway getting set to diagnose things here, as they don't go short yardage. They will line up with Quincy Vaughn just in the formation, but it is Walker handing it off, putting a shoulder down, needed to get to the 45-yard line, didn't have it originally. And Alway believes the spot has to be shy of the 45. If it is, it will be a turnover on downs. The third down gamble of the night.
Certainly appeared initially that the BC Lions were able to stack that up defensively, and while there was a push with some movement, it was not involving the ball carrier.
And Mike Benavides celebrates being able to get a stop. It was 3rd and a long 1.5 yards, 2 yards. Dietrich Mills put the shoulder down, ran right into a wall of Lions. First down BC when we return. From Champaign, Illinois to UCLA in the Canadian Football League. BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Montreal Alouettes. Glenn Love spending his time here in the Canadian Football League. Unfortunately, recently diagnosed with ALS, and he's standing alongside our Tom Gazzola.
Thank you, Marshall. An honor and a pleasure to chat with Glenn Love. Back in Calgary, I know you spent a bunch of years here. Just how nice is it to be back here, feeling the support from former teammates and the fans again?
Oh, it's great, man. I know like about 6 of the players, so it feels like back at home. Like when I played here before, it felt like family, and that's what it is, so it's good.
Glenn, where can people find out more about your battle and how to support you? Because I know you guys have started up some initiatives.
Yeah, lovelifeals.org. We are a company that helps ALS patients. We're the middleman between the patients and everywhere else in the world, so come see us.
Glenn, everybody's rooting for you. Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Glenn, and great to see him here at the football game, and everyone in the CFL community giving their strength to Glenn as he continues his battle.
Yeah, Glenn Love, an outstanding special teams player during his time in the Canadian Football League, one of the best in the league in coverage during his time here, but really showing tremendous character as he's going through this battle, but also not just looking to help himself, but looking to help others along the way as well.
Absolutely. So BC with a gain of 3 on first down, 2nd and 7. Nathan Rourke looks outside, throws a strike once again. Keon Hatcher. And Brady Breeze miss as well. Jump cut back inside, and Hatcher's having one of those nights.
He and Nathan Rourke have been such a dynamic combination. Really getting to know each other, connect this season. It's just another day at the office for these two as we're all kind of wowed by the production.
Well, and just the consistency, right? Which Nathan Rourke talked to us this week about wanting to be excellent, but wanting to do it consistently as he goes over 300 yards on that last throw. This time, an absolute rifled shot to Berryhill. And just being able to pre-snap read and diagnose things, get the football out quickly, always make the right decision. Where is it supposed to go? So many strengths that Rourke has put on display here tonight.
Changing up the pace here a little bit. Getting right to the line of scrimmage.
Rourke not afraid to just stand up and dance his way through. Keon Hatcher, 100-yard gain. He has put together a 6-pack at this point going across the dollar bill.
Yeah, leading the Canadian Football League in that category. Hatcher, we see the athleticism, the skill as a receiver, but a very cerebral football player. Just a guy who really understands coverages and concepts.
Rourke takes the snap, looks to his left, throws into the end zone. And did Hatcher hang on to it? There's a flag out as well. But Nathan Rourke headed towards the end zone to celebrate, waits for a moment. And it will go against the BC Lions, so take it off the board for now as Hatcher. Oh yeah, you can smile when you're having a night like that.
Illegal block, hands to the face, BC, number 61. 10-yard penalty, will repeat first down.
To the right side of your screen, you see the right guard, Anu Una. Get that hand up on the face mask of Jalen Hutchings. Una, second-year player to the University of Windsor.
Hutchings missing the game last week with a groin injury. 7 sacks coming into this one, so Una doing everything he can to slow down the Texas Tech grad. Xander Horvath stands alongside Nathan Rourke as James Butler out of the lineup here tonight, and they'll throw a little crossing route underneath. It is complete. And of course it's Keon Hatcher. Couldn't tell.
If in doubt. It's going to number 4. As you said, it has been that kind of night. Rourke and Hatcher kind of running on autopilot in this one.
He's got 147 yards now, does Keon Hatcher. And yeah, that graphic, that board we showed you a second ago of all of those 100-yard games he's got this season. For a lot of guys, that looks like a career. Like, remember that game 5 years ago against Toronto where I went for 150? It's like, no, it's 6 times in a season. Over 100 at this point as Rourke dancing around, trying to make people miss, and then the ball squirts forward as it looked like he was sacked. There's no whistle. They're going to let it play out as it stands right now. Flag down as well. What an athletic play to make the tackle. So sloppy on that one. They'll sort out the flag, and the CFL Replay Center will have a look at Rourke being down or a fumble.
And I think Rourke is trying to throw this ball. That's why it comes out, trying to avoid taking the sack here. But we'll take a look at the timing of when and how it comes out. So we await the official ruling.
Total turnovers here as it stands tonight. Calgary with 3 of them, and BC with none. As it's pretty close.
I think you can make the argument for incomplete pass, but is there a receiver anywhere near there?
Right.
In terms of a grounding, illegal grounding call.
Buck Pearson, Nathan Rourke, great relationship.
The ruling on the previous play is an incomplete pass. There are 2 fouls. We have holding, BC number 61. That penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, BC number 12. It'll be 3rd down at the point of the intentional grounding.
Yep, spot on there, Dwayne, but getting it out, but nobody in the neighborhood.
And here you see from the all-24 cam, there's really not a receiver in the vicinity. It's just a kind of a desperation play from Nathan Rourke, trying to avoid the sack.
They got a little bit more on it. Maybe could have made the argument for Poisson, who was crossing about 10 yards further down the field, but Sean White comes out. And it's 3rd and goal now from the 28-yard line. After the intentional grounding, as White knocks this one through, held down by Carl Meyer, and make it 38-14 as the BC Lions trying to battle their way in control earlier today.
So bring on the winner. We're waiting for the winner of that other semifinal.
I've been informed by the more knowledgeable women's rugby people here hanging out in our booth. We want France. That's what I've been told. And England is best on best, sure, but better chance maybe against France. We'll find out. Coming up tomorrow on TSN.
We're Canadian Marsh and we'll play whoever,
whenever,
wherever.
I agree. Seen that from a lot of Canadians in the CFL this year, talking about receiving yards for Keon Hatcher, the number of talented Canadian pass catchers this week, where Justin McKinnon said, yeah, actually, some of us have been talking. Is this the best ever? Is it the best that we've been as a group, with Tyson Philpott going crazy against Saskatchewan last week?
Yeah, and I think the answer in short is yes, quite frankly.
Inside handoff. Dietrich Mills gets a gain of 5 yards on the play. Well, from start to finish, right from the opening kickoff, BC Lions, they have been in control of this one. Turnovers, short fields, big plays, and Nathan Rourke, electric on the road in Calgary, trying to get the Lions back to 7-7. The 4th quarter when we return to Calgary. Tremendous season of Nathan Rourke, and the BC Lions offense continues to make its way from basically the very start of the season into, oh, we're bored because we don't get to play on Labor Day. We're going to come out of that and just start shredding teams and try to put up as many points as we possibly can. What's been your favorite part tonight of BC's offensive output?
Well, I think it's been just the way that they've adjusted a little bit without James Butler, where it's not the running back carrying the ball quite as much, but they've still been able to do some things off of their run game, moving Nathan Rourke around. Rourke, quite frankly, I feel like he's been filling the role of running back a little bit with some of the success that he has had, but doing a pretty good job distributing that football. Keon Hatcher doing the bulk of the damage, but again, bear in mind, Javon Katoy out of the lineup, James Butler out of the lineup, Jarrell Broxton out of the lineup.
Evolve and succeed has been the name of the game, as the BC defense doing their part as well. Tackle for loss that time. Deontay Williams catching Dietrich Mills. They tried to slip him out of the backfield. PJ Walker gets another pass completion, but going nowhere for now as 3rd down, and looks like it's time for Calgary to stay on the field and go, in Dave Dickinson's opinion.
And you look at this football game, and, you know, next to the matchup between the quarterbacks, I think the big matchup in this football game was BC's offense against Calgary's defense. Number 1 versus number 1 in their respective categories.
Definitely. As they empty it out, Walker loads it up and takes a shot downfield. Tevin Jones one-on-one, fought back to the football. Incomplete, but a flag is down.
PJ Walker.
pass interference, BC, number 9. Spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Looking to make something happen here. Tevin Jones down the sideline. See Deontay Williams looks back and seems to locate the football. A little bit of hand fighting happening there. I'm not sure how I feel about this call, Marsh.
Only 16 yards as it stands right now for PJ Walker, but a 45-yard penalty that won't go into his passing yardage total for the night.
BC is challenging the ruling on the field of the previous play of pass interference. Play will be reviewed.
Turns out Buck Pierce agrees with your unsureness.
He's more sure than I am.
Well, they decided to challenge it. We'll see if it's enough contact to turn around and play the football. Maybe they're a little early. We'll find out when we return to McMahon. Buck Pierce and the BC Lions challenging for the called defensive pass interference penalty, and get one look at it here as PJ Walker loaded it up, looking down the field for Tevin Jones. Deontay Williams Sr. right there on the coverage. Again, it was called as defensive pass interference, and the CFL Replay Center has the review complete.
After review by the Replay Center, the ruling on the field stands. BC will be charged a timeout.
Shake of the head from Williams Sr. And a 45-yard flip and field position is confirmed after the review.
Yeah, and you can see contact comes a split second before the ball gets there. Again, pretty close one, tough to...
So hand it off inside. Dedrick Mills, gain of 6, down to around the 5-6 yard line. Early on in this fourth quarter. Again, if you're just joining us, PJ Walker in the ball game because Vernon Adams Jr. had a tremendous 3-year run with the BC Lions, playing against his old team for the first time. Took a big hit from Jackson Finley earlier on in the ball game, and it leaves Walker with a chance here down deep in BC territory. Get a major on the board. His second year in the CFL. Walker will step up, looks to run, punts, flag comes out, Walker stops short.
A little pushing and shoving after the play. Keep an eye
Holding.
here.
Calgary, number 54. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
You saw just as Joshua Coker started to lose. The rusher Levi Bell to the inside. Got a little grab on the jersey for which he is flagged. That'll back the Stampeders up a little bit here.
You and I got to look at Levi Bell in Ottawa, I guess 2-3 weeks ago at this point. Just, didn't have a big statistical output, but just rep to rep, you can tell he's got the skills, low build to be successful here in the CFL as he draws the penalty there. And now Mills diving towards the end zone. Brought down inside. Looks like the 2-yard line where they'll spot it. And a gain of 14 yards somehow as Mills turned the corner in a hurry.
Yeah, nice effort here by Mills. Little check release. Make sure the O-line is secure before slipping out to the flat. And doing Dedrick Mills things, getting north-south, ducking his shoulders. That'll give the Stampeders not just spot on the doorstep, but a first down.
Mills playing through a wrist injury in 2024. And inflict some pain right here as they'll fake the run to him. Over the top, Tevin Jones, jump ball, touchdown Stamps. Nice throw from PJ Walker.
If you're looking for positives for the Calgary Stampeders, what has been a tough night for them. PJ Jones coming on and completing a couple of scoring drives would certainly be one of the, PJ Walker coming on completing a couple of scoring drives would be one of the bright spots. Nice touch on that football Just drifting it over the defender into the waiting hands of Tevin Jones.
They'll go for 2 here, as they have been perfect in 2025. Going for the extra point on extra points. As P.J. Walker, 6 of 6 coming into the football game. Vernon Adams Jr. watching on from the Stampeders sideline. That comes up to Walker, and it looks like it's going to be a throw for Jalen Philpott. Throws it into traffic, intercepted. Gary Peters has got it. Could have had a pick 6 earlier in the game, but he's got one now, an interception. And it comes from Jalen Philpott, who threw into a crowd as they tried to dial up something special. Took it out of the hands of P.J. Walker. And it doesn't pay off, but a wonderful throw from Walker to Tevin Jones for 6 just moments ago. 38-20 here in Calgary. P.J. Walker in for the injured Vernon Adams Jr. and beautiful touch after the play fake here, rolling away. And on the back foot, floats it up into the air over T.J. Lee, who's back in the lap this week, and Tevin Jones waiting on the other end.
Yeah, P.J. Walker taking a little bit of a shove.
Well, Keystone Cops there maybe for P.J.
Yeah. But has to be happy with the result of that one as he fights to try and keep the Stamps' hopes alive in this ball game.
Evan McGee crosses the 20 and stacked up at the 30-yard line, bounces off 2 more tacklers and stays on his feet, somehow across the 40. What an effort from McGee in a year where defense and special teams have been setting the benchmark for returns. He almost squeaked one out here.
Yeah, McGee just kind of staying alive on this run, disappears into traffic. The cutback loses about 4 defenders who overrun him. Very nearly keeping his feet there.
As the BC Lions with possession, this offense putting together impressive performances, and now 30-plus points in 7 straight ball games. As Andrew Horvath takes the carry for a couple of yards on the play. And the question, I think, for Lions fans and really CFL fans everywhere is you're looking at the playoff picture and trying to sort out, what is this going to look like in the West Division, with Saskatchewan being on the bye this week, Calgary sitting in 2nd coming in, Winnipeg, of course, in BC down there in 3rd, and then the idea of the crossover and all this. But when you have this kind of production, you play in what you believe to be an offense-friendly league. It's hard to believe that Nathan Rourke is having the season that he is, the statistical output. And they're sitting at 500 potentially after the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, scratching and clawing. But different teams finding different formulas to get it done.
Second down conversion there from Son, but
you talked earlier, Marsh, about the returns, whether defensive turnover returns or kick returns having a big impact. It's one of the statistics that has stood out to me for much of this season about the BC Lions in terms of offensive points, ranked #1 in the league. But they're not #1 in total points because they haven't necessarily been getting that supplementary offense, we'll call it, the way that some other teams have.
Rourke starting the last 9 games for BC, 5 and 4, but averaging 337 yards per game. That's over 3,000 yards and 18 completions for 30 yards or more. As now they go to the ground game. Xander Horvath cutting away from traffic. Found some open field.
Yeah, Horvath, 230-plus pounder. You can see big-bodied back. Gets that momentum going. Bouncing off contact here.
Had to do a double check. It looked like David Mackey out there, the 34 in the BC Orange.
Yeah.
Big, thick running back. And so many times Mackey had to come in and relieve an injured running back situation or a tested depth chart. in a tough spot, but the flexibility that you see from sometimes those fullbacks or backup running backs try and save the day, and Horvath is certainly trying to do that here in the closing stages of Friday Night Football Week 16, up 18.
And here you see the offensive lineman, the pride of Kingston, Ontario, Andrew Pearson, the lead blocker from his fullback spot. And as a former fullback, I am not sure how I feel about offensive linemen infringing on our territory.
As long as the block gets made, right? I think he just likes getting to stand back there. A little different look at life. His inside handoff once again. Michael Couture, the center, right up in the middle of the fray. Nathan Rourke trying to get the best look at it that he possibly can. Derek Moncrief in on the tackle as well. And I think Rourke got the spot that he wanted. It's good to see Adam Konar on the sidelines here in conversation with Jackson Finley. A couple of Canadians, the vet and the rook, talking things over with BC up 18.
Again, Konar appeared to injure his elbow, reaching to make a tackle on special teams early in the ball game, but absolutely great to see Adam back on the sideline with his teammates.
Rourke takes the snap, takes the run, sets his feet, throws a strike. That's what he does all night long. This one to Justin McInnes, and a wave goodbye to the McMahon fans.
You can't say that the Calgary Stampeders at any point in this ball game have laid down and have stopped fighting. They keep trying to fight their way back in it, but every success they have, the BC Lions are just unfazed by it and respond with yet another scoring drive. Again, it's Rourke getting to the perimeter. That option to run or throw the ball, this time finding Justin McInnes for the major.
Flag comes up, but the extra point is up and through. Justin McInnes said that he was watching last week Tyson Philpott go for 200 plus in the game Montreal and Saskatchewan. Said, man, I better get out there and start doing something as quick as possible. Well, that'll help. Second touchdown of the day for Nathan Rourke. It is the 2025 Canadian Football Hall of Fame inductees going in tomorrow. Oh, we get a little early look at the bus, maybe.
Yeah, Brian Chu, perennial all-star at center. Not a bad O-line class. Javon Olafioye, terrific for the BC Lions at tackle over the years. Scott Flagel, fantastic athlete, terrific safety in the league, known best for his time as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Of course, Jermaine Copeland, great Calgary Stampeder receiver. And my favorite guy in the class, my former teammate, that's my guy.
I knew it was coming.
Daryl Hall. First guy I met in training camp. My rookie year in Calgary. First new guy that I didn't already know that I met, yes.
Eric Brooks on the return here for the Stampeders, but a tremendous class as always, as expected. And a little look at your man D Hall.
Yeah, D Hall is a guy that changed the game. You know, as teams started to go to the 5-receiver offense, which was pioneered here in Calgary, the answer was starting to play defensive backs as linebackers, and Daryl Hall was a big, tall, long-armed, strong guy who was an all-star halfback. Moved to the linebacker position, that nickel linebacker position, and became not just an all-star, but the prototype at that spot. And a great teammate to boot.
Looking forward to seeing all the coverage from Hall of Fame and plenty more celebrations to come as the catch streak of Dominique Rhymes, yes, it is finally extended. Now 67 games in a row that Dom Rhymes has been able to get onto the stat sheet. It hasn't been the type of offensive output that you would like, but 19 yards on this one.
Baby! That's two.
As Justin McInnes celebrates his 2 touchdowns, and Dedrick Mills with plenty of steam downhill.
Hey, let's go!
gets into BC territory here and adds on 15 more to his night.
And I think the fact that we're in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left talking about the fact that Dominic Grimes' streak has been extended kind of tells you that it hasn't been quite the kind of offensive night the Calgary Stampeders wanted it to be.
Well, but just 2 catches for 25 yards in Calgary's previous games. He's barely been keeping the streak going, but limited opportunities when you're trying to run the football or you're down and struggling to throw the football is once again Mills plunges his way forward into the waiting arms of Josh Woods. And the Stampeders offense trying to heat things up and go quickly to the line of scrimmage. As Mills right into the middle. And Micah Awe. That was the matchup coming into this one. You know, we were so fixated on VA and Nathan Rourke, but they don't play against each other. They're on the opposite sides of the ball. That might have been the matchup right there.
Yeah, hard physical battle. And Dedrick Mills, he's put together some yards tonight as he's been busy. The Calgary Stampeders continued to lean on him offensively for much of the first half, obviously getting into the second half a little bit and, you know, chasing points really in this one the way the BC Lions offense has never skipped a beat in this ball game, eventually forcing the Stampeders to get away from Mills, at least in the run game a little bit as this second half has unfolded.
These two teams will play again coming up in week 18, October 4th. Get an opportunity to have the rematch. And that one, of course, coming in Vancouver. That's the lone game at McMahon this year. Just the 2 regular season matchups as PJ Walker rolls to his right, flies this one into the back of the end zone, and it is incomplete. And now Walker is down on the field and his first incompletion. And it looks like he's in pain as well.
On Vernon Adams, the first one off the bench to check on his fellow quarterback. See if Walker goes down hard here, perhaps, just after throwing that ball.
Yeah.
Saw the way he kind of extended that arm after landing hard. He puts his arms out to cushion the fall after taking a hit, but looked like he may have jarred that right shoulder. He's grabbing the forearm.
And regardless, obviously, throwing arm and in a significant amount of discomfort. Well, it's been that kind of night for Calgary, as you said earlier, Dwayne, refusing to give up. But Quincy Vaughn, the third stringer, will play out the final 5 minutes as Walker heads to the sideline here and goes into the injury tent.
Quincy Vaughn has yet to attempt to pass in the Canadian Football League. Again, this is a guy who started his college career as a quarterback and played his first few years as a QB, so saw playing time as a quarterback. But in order to get on the field and for the team to utilize his athleticism, he ended up moving to tight end but remained the short yardage quarterback.
See his control of the offense here in the fourth quarter as flags fly in the defensive secondary. Quincy with his brother Justin, former CFLer, Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive end as well. I was actually asking him pregame down on the field what Justin's up to. Hey, he's living in the area, you know, coming to all the Tiger Cats games, watching. Yeah. So still deeply tied into CFL circles, and Quincy actually said he reaches out to his brother sometimes when he has a CFL question for him. Hey man, you got more reps than I do. Might as well pick your brain.
Yeah, good football family.
We have an illegal low block against Calgary, number 87. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll repeat second down.
You know, now this makes me think back, Marshall, to my playing days, and you get in the emergency quarterback situation. Right. For us in Calgary, one of our receivers, Travis Moore, who's been a receiver coach in the league a number of years, Travis had played some quarterback in junior college. So Travis was the emergency quarterback. But I was the only person other than the quarterbacks who knew the signals. It wasn't the headsets in those days. So if we went to the emergency quarterback, I had to be on the field.
And you were translating signals to Travis?
I would call the plays.
Yeah, okay.
I would call the plays and Travis would run them. Fortunately, it never came to us having to do it in a game.
And from bad to worse, now Jezrin Antwi is down on the field. As obviously the Calgary Stampeders, trailing by 25 with 5 minutes remaining, are just trying to run some clock. And Antwi getting some carries, so they take a couple of hits off of Dedrick Mills maybe, but man.
And another local product. Antwi played his high school and university ball here in Calgary. Dinos, by the way, with a matchup against the UBC Thunderbirds this weekend in U Sports action.
Tough spot here. The training staff will take every precaution as you would expect. You see Dedrick Mills standing there, Ludwig Schickett as well.
Yeah, his fellow running backs keeping a close eye. Antwi, Vanier Cup champion during his time with the UFC Dinos.
With 4:14 remaining, Antwi onto his feet, which is great to see. He wants to walk off under his own power, but obviously worse for wear.
A tough night gets a little bit tougher for the Calgary Stampeders, who are already dealing with some injury issues coming into this ball game.
Rene Paredes and the field goal unit come out, try to salvage some more points. Justin McInnes, our referee, whistles this one in.
Justin McInnes is refereeing and catching touchdown passes.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns and referee on the night as Paredes does what he does best. Old Levi Mitchell telling me after the Labor Day Classic that went the way of the Toronto Argonauts on a Liram Hairolahu end-of-game field goal that so many times. Loved a little backhand shovel touchdown pass from Josh. So that's when you know you're just in a zone. You can do whatever you want with the football and just go, here, take that. Okay, 3rd string tight end, touchdown.
He's channeling his inner Nathan Rourke.
Exactly. As Rourke throws the mouth guard back in, stays in the football game. Here late in the 4th quarter is Xander Horvath running free now through the secondary, turns on the Jets, and in his first start, Xander Horvath punctuates a monster night for the BC Lions as a flag comes up at the end of the run.
Yeah, the flag was very late. It was after Horvath was in the end zone. Thrown along the BC sideline. Horvath fights his way through there again. Good block from Riley Pickett. Bouncing it to the outside at the end. We'll see. Stanley Berryhill. He's fighting to try and get a block there and help his guy into the end zone. Not sure if he made contact or if he just kind of got in Derek Moncrief's path enough that led to him tripping.
Adrian Green just shoved Berryhill as he was running down the field in front of him. It looks like the Lions are celebrating, and it'll be a 70-yarder for Xander Horvath.
Clipping, Calgary, number 0. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
Xander Horvath sporting a gaudy 14.4 yard per carry average. Well, you know, our statistician, Dave Moyer, who, by the way, invented the abacus, just asked me if I calculated that on my own. It's easy when it's 10 carries, Dave. Round numbers.
Oh, what a run for Xander Horvath. One little move of the hole. Brady Breeze can't make the open field tackle, then turns on the Jets and outruns Adrian Green, Derek Moncrief, all the way to the end zone. We all remember the night that Xander Horvath went for 144, right? 70 big ones right there, massively inflating his efforts. However, as they were trying to control the clock at the end of this football game, he certainly was running hard in between the tackles.
Yeah, 9 for 74 wasn't a bad average as it was, right? Over 8 yards a pop.
Nathan Rourke with the ball cap on for now. 20 of 24 is Rourke, 331 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Oh, and he ran for 3. Just in case you're wondering, responsible for 5 touchdowns against the Calgary Stampeders. And when you hang 52 on what was the CFL's leading defense in terms of points per game against, you should get the win, and they will.
Well, one of the things that's jumping out right now when you think of the Calgary Stampeders' last 2 games, you know, Justin Rankin rushed for over 200 against them. And now Xander Horvath on just 10 carries goes for 140. So particularly as you get to this stretch run of the year, you've got to be concerned about shutting down those big plays in the run.
Yep, absolutely. As Ludwig Choquette out of Long Island makes his way onto the field alongside Quincy Vaughn, and I'm pretty sure that Dave Dickinson, as much as he loves this draft class from 2025, wasn't expecting this to be his backfield in a game against the BC Lions in Week 16. Turned around.
Yeah, Choquette, Quebec native, who played most of his college career at Western Illinois, but transferred, finishing up, as you said, at Long Island.
Cherry makes the tackle, and it's a memorable one for the BC Lions. It's a tape night here in Calgary. Week 16 rolls along tomorrow, starting with a pivotal game in the playoff race. The Bombers and the Red Blacks, live from the nation's capital. Coverage gets underway at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN and CTV.
Marshall, they are all pivotal games in the playoff race at this point.
I do gotta say, I feel bad for my man Russ Jackson, because Brady Oliveira with 33 yards tomorrow is going to track him down in a rushing tally, as well as he gets passed by Nathan Rourke here in the passing category. So Russ's records are under assault from all these crazy Canadians, Dwayne.
His records may be, but his reputation is one of the greatest of all time.
Agreed.
Is definitely safe.
And always will be, regardless of the numbers game. As Rourke enjoying a little bit of fun on the sideline, as Buck Pierce and his squad will travel home happy. And Quincy Vaughn getting some valuable reps here in his rookie CFL season, as he throws this one just in behind Eric Brooks. And some pushing and shoving back at the original line of scrimmage. Looks like Nathan Cherry was in there alongside Gary Peters.
Well, it definitely touched the ground. Someone's got a flight to catch.
It is the inside handoff on second down. Going nowhere. Ludwig Choquette continues to try to push the pile here, and looks like on third down, we'll get some more film as Nathan Rourke, his 9,300-yard passing game here in 2025. And he's done it in just 12 games played as well. I mean, the pace that he is on, project that outwards, and there's all sorts of numbers that are going to come falling down the stretch. 7 McGee tries to turn the corner. The rare 77 on 77 special teams tackle. As seen before the game, nice gentle exchange between a couple of guys that used to wear the same uniform in BC.
Buck Pierce, a young guy coming into the league with veteran quarterback in BC at the time, Dave Dickinson. And their careers turned out all right for these two.
First time going head-to-head since Buck Pierce became the head coach, of course, for the BC Lions. Dave Dickinson, extensive history coaching here with the Stampeders, but plenty more rivalry games to come. And the next one, October 4th, when the rematch goes down at BC Place. Chase Bryce is into the ball game here for the BC Lions, so Nathan Rourke gets to enjoy the next minute 37 on the sideline. And Keon Hatcher just continues to climb further and further north up through the most receiving yards in a single season for the BC Greats.
And they have had some greats with the BC Lions.
And again, projected right now to go just past G-Roy Simon. 147 yards here tonight in Calgary on the road. That's the secondary that had some hope coming in as well for the Stampeders, getting a couple of bodies back into the lineup. And one of the big questions, I think, for the Stampeders moving forward here, Dwayne, is going to be Florina Rimolade down, unfortunately, for the remainder of the season, thanks to Achilles injury from the Labor Day Classic rematch. And where do you get your pass rush from up front, as Flo hates seeing him with a boot on the sideline, one of the true great, entertaining, energetic pass rushers in the Canadian Football League. But between Jalen Hutchings and Clarence Hicks being up there, you got to think that that's the combination, because they lead the CFL in terms of 2 players combined, coming in tonight with 14 sacks.
Yeah, what will be interesting to me going forward will be how, as you say, how Flo's loss impacts the way that teams block the other guys, right? Because I think a lot of the success early here in 2025 for Hicks and Hutchings comes from the fact that
procedure, BC, number 47, 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Teams coming into this season, certainly from a protection point of view, Flo is the guy you're going to direct most of your attention to, and the other guys have made the most of the opportunity, really developing, being productive players, taking advantage of those matchups. But with Flo out of the lineup, now will Hicks and Hutchings see a little bit more in terms of scheming attention from opposing offensive coordinators.
Picking up the flag here on the punt for the BC Lions. Meyer crushes this one all the way down to the 31-yard line. And the coverage near perfect as well. Patrice Rene down the field makes the play as we're inside a minute remaining. And it will be 5-3 at home now for the Calgary Stampeders after they dropped this one. 8-5 on the season, still sitting in 2nd spot in the West Division. I know how much you love divisions, Dwayne.
You're goading me, Marsh. You're goading me. I'll just say it in case we have any new viewers tonight. We should not have a division-based playoff format in this 9-team league.
Crossover very much in play at this point in 2025. Saskatchewan on the bye. Calgary could have moved to within 2 points of first in the West, but that obviously won't happen as a result of the loss. A team allowing a CFL low 20.4 points per game under defensive coordinator Bob Slowick. And tonight they give up 52, more than double their average output. Quincy Vaughn hands it off. Ludwig Choquette in the open field. Big collision as he gains the 1st down.
Choquette, a guy who appears to have a bright future to me in the Canadian Football League. I felt he was the top running back in this year's draft class. Seen a little bit of action, whether it's been as the number 2, sometimes as the number 3, depending on whether Jeshurun Antwi has been available. Also has chipped in on special teams, 4 special teams tackles on the year.
got to commend Quincy Vaughn as well for coming in as emergency third-string quarterback and being able to work at the line of scrimmage and get the Stampeders as harmlessly as possible to the finish line. This one, and Nathan Rourke, right from the second the green flag went up, he was ready to roll. 52-23 is your final. The BC Lions, despite all of their offensive prowess, they're sitting at 500 on the year as Buck Pierce and Dave Dickinson talk things over at the completion of this one. And Keon Hatcher with another monster night for the BC Lions. They'll play again coming up in week number 18. Hope that Vernon Adams Jr. is all good moving forward in a game in which it featured the top 2 pass defenses in the CFL and yards per game. It was all about the BC Lions and the legs of Nathan Rourke for 3 touchdowns, being able to piece it together with Justin McInnes getting a pair as well. It's the Bombers and the Red Blacks coming up for you tomorrow as the CFL on TSN rolls along. For Dwayne Ford and Tom Gazzola, I'm Marshall Ferguson. Thanks so much for watching Friday Night Football doubleheader. It's time now for SportsCenter with Adam Scully and Jermaine Franklin.
Come on and welcome inside SportsCenter. Adam and Jermaine here with you. A busy show ahead, including Team Canada at the Women's Rugby World Cup. What a story that is. But Jermaine, let's begin. Friday Night Football, Lions and Stampeders. This one, it wasn't so close, was it?
No, and Vernon Adams, remember, he was with the BC Lions last year. The Lions had to make a choice, Adams or Rourke. They chose Rourke. Adams Jr. had an opportunity to prove them. Might have been the wrong mistake, but it wasn't a great game for him. Vernon Adams Jr. hugging some former teammates pregame. The Lions decided to stick with Nathan Rourke, as mentioned, opening drive. On play action, Rourke finds Keon Hatcher. 2 Stampeders defenders collide, and Hatcher flips at the end of the play. Rourke passed Russ Jackson for most passing yards by a Canadian in a single season on the drive. And on the very next play, Rourke gets in for the TD. Lions up early. You'd see a lot of that. Ensuing drive, 2nd and 9 for Adams. He throws on the run into double coverage. That's a no-no. Intercepted by Christophe Beaulieu. Adams, 11th interception of the season. Then on Calgary's next drive, Adams throws over the middle, and he's picked off by Micah Alway. Adams throws 2 interceptions on his first 2 drives. The Lions scored a touchdown on the ensuing drive to take a 14-0 lead. Let's still in the first quarter. Rourke airs it out for Stanley Berryhill. Berryhill. Oh, what an incredible one-handed catch. A gain of 53 yards, and on the very next play,
Stanley Berryhill wins that round.
Absolutely on the money from Nathan Rourke. Once again, as now the Calgary Stampeders defense gives chase, but they can't catch Rourke as he cuts back inside the 5. Touchdown, Nathan Rourke.
Wow. Some boos are out at McMahon Stadium. Rourke caps off the 2-play drive with a 26-yard run. It's 21-zip Lions, and the Stamps defense did not look good there. To the second quarter, after a Stampeders face masking penalty extended the Lions drive, Rourke to Justin McInnes for the touchdown. BC entering with the league's top-scoring offense, averaging 28 points per game. They led 28-7 at the half. Third quarter, Adams uses his legs to try to get the first down, slides. Ooh, and he takes a hard hit from Jackson Finley. Adams was pulled from the game by the injury spotter, slow to get up. And he did not return, remaining on the sideline. Then in the fourth quarter, Lions up 38-20. Rourke throws a dart to McInnes for his 2nd touchdown through the air. The Lions waving goodbye to the Calgary crowd. They win big.
Als and the Argos, McLeod Bethel Thompson already with 2 picks in the game, and he does this in the second quarter.
That's an Edmonton guy. I've had enough. MBT down the field. Look at this. Oh, no. Oh, Rambo.
Oh, Charleston Rambo was wide open, but Bethel Thompson's throw leads him out of bounds. Rambo ends up falling over. Then, late in the half, Als up 7-6, but MBT gets picked up by Derek Sluka. Bethel Thompson's third pick of the half. Owls down 9-7 at the break. It's now 10-9 Montreal in the fourth. Bethel Thompson airs it out deep to Tyler Sneed. Oh, what a catch. That play good for 46 yards. Then later in the drive, Bethel Thompson sees Sneed wide open in the end zone. Bethel Thompson much cleaner in the second half than the first, and he credited one very important halftime switch.
Extend their lead to...
I think I wore the wrong cleats, so I had to come out and change my cleats in the second half. Footwear important. Cleats matter.
Well, you can say that again, Jermaine.
Yeah. Wow. Equipment change.
Argos down 9. Third string QB, Jared Nagy, who had a comeback win last week, looking to do it again. He finds Jake Herslow for the score and gets the Argos back within 2. But an interesting decision after that touchdown. Argos trying to go for the surprise onside kick. Jonathan Edouard gets a hand on it, but Josh Archibald bats it out. So the onside kick fails. That led to a Montreal field goal. Argos now down 5 with 2 minutes left. Decide to go for it, 3rd and 4. And Daigie finds Mackay Polk. That's a first down. Later in the same drive, another 3rd and 4. But this time, Argos decide to kick it to cut the lead to 2, and the broadcast reacts.
You don't like it, do you?
No, that's a little surprising. It's going to be one of those things where if it doesn't work out, we're all going to be questioning it, but if it does, he's a genius.
If it works on the game-winning field goal, I'll say, Dinwiddie's a genius. He's a genius.
Well, guess what? Argos got the ball back. And with 20 seconds to go, trying to get into field goal range.
Daigie got to find some yards here. Montreal brings some heat right up the middle. Daigie gets it away. Intercepted. Taken away by Sutton. And it's over. The Alouettes defense.
Polk wanted a flag, but no call was made. Wesley Sutton picks off Daigie to seal the win. Montreal sweeps the season series over Toronto. 21-19 is the final. Here's an updated look at the standings in the East Division. Montreal's win sees them pull 4 points clear of the Argos for second place in the East, while BC's win sees them temporarily leap the Blue Bombers for third in the West. Much more. Here's Kate Burnett.
Alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, and it was the Nathan Rourke show on Friday night. And coming into this game, all eyes were on Vernon Adams. He was facing the BC Lions for the first time since he was traded, and that didn't end up being the story because Nathan made a statement right off the hop in this game. He has been sensational as of late. Now he is 5 of 6 games, 300-plus passing yards, and at this point in the season, he looks unstoppable and certainly going in the right direction with this BC Lions offense, Enoch.
He is leading this team tremendously, and he played a great game tonight against the team that we thought Vernon Adams was going to play really strong against. And you look at Nathan Rourke. He had a tremendous game tonight. He was phenomenal. He was extremely dominant. He did everything that he wanted to do. And then on top of that, he also had a defense that handed him the ball multiple times as well and created some turnovers. And anytime you see a guy like Nathan Rourke play the game that he did, and he was in the zone the way that he was tonight, I mean, it's just tough to beat a team like that. Nathan Rourke, he is polished. He's one of, if not the best quarterback in the CFL. And when he plays like that, you can't argue that at all.
But number 12 of the BC Lions, there's no question he's the best quarterback in this league. And some people look at Nathan Rourke and how he moves, and you want to see a little more emotion in him. He's kind of a guy that's relaxed, and he never gets too high, never gets too low. No. That wasn't the case tonight. You saw after he scored a couple touchdowns and was rolling, it was evident how much this game meant to him and what it meant, you know, everything that's gone on with him and Vernon, everything's gone. The emotion was out today. Yep. He was on display. He made a statement. He proved a point, and it was obvious. VA, on the other hand, it wasn't his day. And that started with early on. Let's give this BC Lions defense credit. They had him confused early. He was second-guessing himself. And I think, you know, let's get to the point of understanding that when you're trailing in a game and your defense can't get stops, you know, that injury right there, we don't know what happened there, but it looks like, you know, something upper body. Obviously, he came out of the game in that situation. Hopefully, he's okay. But when you're trailing, when your defense can't get stops and you're having to answer, you can't get any momentum, You know, it wasn't good for this whole Stamps team, and it wasn't good for VA.
Sticking with the QB theme, in the earlier game, all eyes on Jarrett Daggy in that one with no Nick Arbuckle and, of course, no Chad Kelly. And, I mean, overall, it wasn't a great game for him.
No.
I'm sure there were a couple spots where you're like, okay, he got something done. But end of the game, there was another opportunity.
Right.
Ends up being a pick. They end up losing the game all around. But the Argos moving forward, I mean, I think this was a really tough loss, and they're going to need a QB if they have any shot.
Yeah, there's a reason why Jarrett Daggy is a number 3 quarterback. And, you know, he came into this game with some confidence, but confidence is not going to allow you to go out there and get it done if you can't get it done. And apparently that was the case for him. And Kate, you mentioned it. Yes, they had an opportunity on that last play where he threw that interception where I think everyone up here, even some Montreal fans, would say there was PI, but it wasn't called. So you can't do anything about that. So these Toronto Argonauts definitely need another quarterback in place if they want to get themselves back in the position to make the playoffs. They had won 3 games in a row with Nick Arbuckle, but we don't know how long he's going to be out. So if they have to depend on Jarrett Daggy to get it done, it's going to be a difficult situation because he has shown in his CFL career so far that he's just not the guy.
And kudos to the Montreal Alouettes as well. They moved back to 500 on the season and also sweep the Toronto Argonauts for the first time since 2011.